Welcome to Twin Humanities Game of the Year show. Everything's gonna be scattershot. It's gonna be exciting. Welcome to our Game of the Year Crunchbag.
All right.
So I know you're asking at this point, what is a Crunchbag?
Hang on. What is a Crunchbag?
What is a Crunchbag? This is a Crunchbag.
Whoa,
so
that was a crunchy bag.
Because we're a high budget show, I've written down all the categories, and
okay.
I'm now I'm now cutting those from a sheet of what we in the podcasting game call paper.
Ooh, keen listeners will remember this concept from a couple of years ago, won't they?
Yes, but that was a box.
Oh, okay. This is 2016. This is the different.
Time has moved on.
We've evolved. We can't afford boxes anymore. We've now just got a bag.
What? I bought a hat since then. It's very nice. It came in that bag. Yeah. So because I haven't spoken to you for ages.
Well, no, it's been because both of us work horrible retail at Christmas. The times to meet up and chat have been small and rubbish, or not existing at all. So we planned to get another 2 more shows in since the last one, didn't we? And it's just not even close to happen this year.
Listen,
because
it's the sound of categories, and this is them going into small balls.
Everyone listen.
Ooh. If you want to jump up on a bus or in the library and punch the air and go, yes, small balls, feel free to. And, excitingly, they're now going into the crunch bag.
Ooh.
The crunch bag is being sealed. Listen. The balls are in the crunch bag.
Excellent.
More horoscopes tomorrow. I haven't had a cup of coffee all morning, and that is just an epiphany. Right, so what we're going to do, we've got, like previous years, we've got previous years.
Premium years.
Yeah, have you had previous years? Would you like them to be better quality? Try previous years.
Subscribe to our Patreon.
That reminds me of, I came up with some telly show ideas yesterday. Bad Medicine. John Bon Jovi goes looking for justice for people that have been misdiagnosed.
Oh, God.
Also, X-Files type spin-off where John Bon Jovi investigates people who should already be dead but are kept alive by chanting to their god of choice, living on a prayer.
Oh. No.
I'm sorry. Right, so we've got all of the scattershot, was that what you called them?
Scattergories.
Scattergories, that's better.
Like that ball game.
In the crunch bag, and then we're going to do our top 5s of the year. So the top 5 is going to be 2 notable exceptions, and then a top 3. So
okay,
we had that conversation, didn't we?
Right, because I had a pretty firm top 7.
Yeah,
so
I couldn't get to 7.
Okay, well I'm going to trim off my bottom 2. Hang on. Hang on. Let's get the paper.
Puns continue.
Let's get the paper and just rip those off. Hang on. Here
right.
we go. No, I'm ripping them off my sheet as well.
What? No, I'm taking some vitamins. Take your vitamins, kids.
Goodbye, bottom 2. You weren't that good anyway.
I bet they were. I bet you disappointed me.
No, they're gone. I've just thrown Uncharted 4 in the bin. That's how good I am.
Really?
Yeah, just threw it in the bin.
That's incredible.
Binned it.
In the bin or in the river? Because I've got the cod liver oil tablets. Good for your bones, kids. Remember, when you're playing games, get up to stretch and have a wee.
This message brought to you from the 1930s.
You're the one who got a green smoker's jacket the other day, didn't you?
I'm wearing it right now.
Hey, welcome to 1917.
Oh, it's velvety and it's got a lovely detailed pocket, and the collar and cuffs fold back really nice.
If you ever do get Persona 5 and they do that velvet room thing, there's bound to be somebody in a smoker's jacket in that.
And I will associate with them.
Yeah, so should we dive straight in there then?
Okay, I will let you direct the flow because you have the crunch bag and thus control of the show.
The crunch bag, did you say?
You have a crunch bag.
Cue music. Right, crunch bag.
That's not music. That's just the crunch bag moving.
No, I want you to put that music back in again because
again,
sound
okay,
dramatic. Right,
yep.
We'll try this again. Cue the music. Crunch bag is being shaken. Crunch bag is being undone by my side. It's see-through, kids.
Oh god.
Reaching into the Crunchbag. The first category is... Crunchbag has been placed on the pile of shirts behind me. First category is... Best game from another year.
Ooh. That's a good category.
Mr. Stardust?
Okay, well, my choice this year for best game from a different year that I played in this year...
Thanks for clearing that up.
Fucking hell. Is one I picked up in... Was it? I got it from Plus a while ago, and spurred on by the sequel appearing this year, I decided to give Dishonored a go.
Oh yes, I've been meaning to have a chat with you about this.
And, I'm quite angry with myself about Dishonored because I feel like I should have bought this and played this when it came out because it's like exactly the things I like. It's hiding, which as you will know, I am a fan of the Metal Gear Solid. I'm a big fan of hiding and then murdering. This is quite good at that, at hiding and then murdering, and it gives you magic powers to make your murdering more efficient and more fun.
So what led you to it? Because the first time I saw that you were doing this, you were playing it on PS3, and I was like, what's led him to kicking that on?
Yeah, it was when the Dishonored 2 was coming out, and everybody was talking about it again, and like, oh, it's really good, looking forward to it. And I've had it. I got Dishonored 1 from Plus like ages ago, like proper ages ago. And I thought, oh, do you know what? Maybe now's the time. Maybe now's the time to give it a go. So I got the PS3 version. I downloaded it onto my PS3. Sorry, I turned on my PS3, installed the update, downloaded the game, installed the update as well, and sort of started cracking into it. And I was really enjoying it. And sort of mentioned on Twitter that I was, playing the first one. I think I got to the second mission in the game, the second target you can do. And I got a very nice tweet from Scott Bradley, Scout Skeptic on Twitter, who said that he bought the Dishonored 2 PS4 thing and got the copy for the definitive edition of the first game, like the PS4 version of the first game.
Got as a code?
As a code, yeah.
Okay.
And then he was like, do you want it? And I was like,
That's
well...
really nice.
I know, it was amazing. And thank you again for that. It was amazing. I was like, are you sure? Said, yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to use it. I was like, oh. Okay, so got that installed pretty sharpish. Caught back up where I was in about an hour and a half, and yeah, didn't look back. It was amazing. Like, it's a proper fun sort of stabby, murdery. If you've played Dishonored, you know this, but like, it's the tools it gives you give you so many options to deal with. Like, you can be sneaking around and it all goes tits up, but it doesn't feel like you've cocked it up. Like, you've got tools to get out of that. Whereas some stealth games where you get seen and you might as well just restart the level. It's like, right, okay, start again. Fucked it.
Now, you see, when I first started playing this on... I think I rented it from Love Film, like the initial one. And I really got on with it, and I was really having fun. And then this is one of those moments where you go onto websites and just folks were going, no, you're doing it wrong. And I was like... And they were like, oh, you'll never get the good ending, the proper ending if you're doing it like that. So I was like, oh, okay. And I think I left it a bit and then restarted it and just wasn't enjoying the way that everybody said I should have been playing it, and sent it back and just didn't. I'm sure there was another moment after that where I had like a really bad headache and I tried replaying it and it just didn't mesh with me. Loved the art design, but picked up the remaster on Xbox One and just haven't played it. I think I installed it at the point where I saw that you were playing, and I was like, yeah, I really did mean to crack back into that, because it's another one of those where I think the cane and rinse on it was a little bit scathing, but a few of those folks have kind of now reevaluated their opinion of it, so they could probably do a brand new cane and rinse should they want to. But yeah, So it's a strange one. So did you finish it?
Yeah, finished it. I did like half of one of the DLCs, and then November happened and all the games came out, so I kind of sort of stopped playing there. But I had finished the game. I played enough of the DLC. I think I played a bit of the Knife of Dunwall,
Or is that the Michael Madsen one?
Yeah,
where he plays the villain.
Dowd. That was great. I'm really enjoying myself. The way I play Dishonored is some can be like go full attack, full murder. Some go full stealth. I like to hide, and still kill everybody. And I always invest in the power that makes corpses vanish when you've killed them. So it's like, I don't need to hide bodies. I can just sneak up behind someone, stab them in the neck, watch them vanish and run away. And they go, hey, wasn't there a guard here? Yes, there was. He's dead.
Because the second one seemed to critically be absolutely raved about. I know people that weren't keen on the first game that said that the second one is exceptional. But it's another one of those where I think they're calling it sequelitis, where the likes of Watch Dogs 2, Dishonored 2, Titanfall 2 didn't do very well. And whereas I saw quite an aggressive, as to whether it was EA or whatever it was with the price, the super price drop for Titanfall 2, had an influx of people that were kicking in and joining it from there. And I think that this ever increasing chorus probably gave Titanfall 2 more momentum than the other games that just seemed to hit like 25 quid within no time.
Yeah, it's just, why does everything have to release in November? Like,
It's
just
a strange
spread it a bit. Like, understand that it's Christmas and the mums and dads are going to buy FIFA or COD for their children. Like, that's how it works.
Right, knowing a few, knowing something else that may probably be on your list later on, and knowing that you've played this, and you saying that you like your sort of stabby, hidey, great visuals stuff. I've got something that I'd like you to play because I think it would surprise you, and I think it's 100% your thing.
Okay.
And I don't think you realise how 100% your sort of thing it is.
What is this thing?
And that's the recent Wolfenstein.
Okay.
It's 100% your sort of thing. If you're not on board in like the opening sequence, I'll be stunned because it's gobsmacking.
Interesting.
But that's another game I've been meaning to get back to, but I remember a point where I left it where there was a lot of sneaking and a lot of, it was very, knowing what I know afterwards about the likes of Metal Gear Solid 5, I know that there's just a lot for you in there. And I think you'd really dig it.
Oh, I hadn't considered it. Interesting.
And you can, I think that's knocking about for about £5 now.
Oh, I'm sure I can find it cheap on a sale somewhere,
Yeah.
definitely.
And then even the Old Blood, which came out afterwards, is like a prequel to it, which is again got really, really highly regarded. But I think you'd really click with it. I really do.
Interesting.
It's good stuff.
Cool. I will. So I have to ask you then. What was your game from a different year that you played, but in this year though?
Bloodborne.
Hey!
Right,
Play the music.
That's just going to sort of rattle on randomly throughout this episode, isn't it?
Oh, you're going to have the edit, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
But
no, just stick it in Slapdash.
Should have got a little box and just had.
Yeah, people just think we've done it for comedic effect. We're like, nah, put it there. So if Dark Souls 3 did anything, it gave me an appetite for Bloodborne. It led me to it. It made me understand it. I don't know if it's just within the similar movements in DS3 or whatever it was. I finished DS3, and all throughout kind of probably the second half of it, my brain was just going, Bloodborne. So I found my way back to where I'd left off and into the chalices, got new stuff, got good at the game.
Because where were you when we left off? You were like in just getting to the woods, weren't you?
No, I was Nightmare Frontier.
Okay.
And I think that's where I'd left it. But as I said to you, sort of back then, sometimes you get the feeling that it's not you, it's me, and that something's not clicking, but further down the line it could. Mm-hmm. And there's no sense in just sort of tossing something into the trash or just like stropping about it. It's just sometimes moods and the right time hit you, and in many ways, looking back with Dark Souls 2, Scholar was a big connection that I made at that time, so that's fine. Bloodborne's not going anywhere. I know it frustrated a lot of people with the way
tell me
that
about
I hadn't clicked with it, but yeah, I went into the chalices and started twatting about in there and had a lot of fun and got new stuff that I then took into the game. I still couldn't tell you what the chuff's going on lore-wise. But what a game! But that reminds me of the first time when I played Demon Souls, and the first time I played Dark Souls, and the first time I played Dark Souls 2. It's like you play the game for the game, and I'm sure that's I might notice more in further iterations and stuff. But I was just enjoying the architecture and the gameplay and the monsters, and
it is classic Souls in that respect. In that the first run is generally cool, stuff's happening. What? Yeah, and in the second run, you notice the things, and I think even the most ardent of item description reader couldn't have worked all that out on their first run.
Wasn't your second run the one where you went sort of through the guide and you tried to like dot the I's and cross the T's? So that's a valid way of doing it. I think a friend does that with actually it was the guitarist in my last band she used to do that with Final Fantasy. She'd get the guide, she'd go through the game herself, and then she'd go back with the guide, and she'd be excited to go through it with the guide to see the stuff that she found, the stuff that she missed, the stuff that she did differently.
I mean, it's cool because I caught up with Bonfire Side Chat again this year, because I kind of dropped behind a bit during the Bloodborne season because we were talking about it as well, and I thought I don't want to just parrot what they say. I want to have my own opinion, so I sort of dropped off for a while, and I caught back up again, and it's like, oh, who are they talking about? I don't even remember that character. And I think when you get to go back afterwards with the guide, I'm only doing it so I can get all the NPC rewards and sort of see as many of the NPC quests as possible, because they are quite easy to miss in these games. Bloodborne's among the more easy to miss. Some of them are, and it's just kind of nice going back over it, just like reading a story again, but understanding the story this time. I suppose that actually is what it is. It's understanding what's actually happening and how everything fits in the cosmology and stuff. And we're not going to say the L word or the C word. But yeah, just like you say, the architecture of it, the look of it. I mean, I played a bit of it again this year after Dark Souls 3. I thought, Bloodborne, though, in it, and booted up a fresh character and battered through quite a bit. And I think I got up to about the Nightmare Frontier myself in about 3 evenings, like just banging through it, because once you've got it, you've got it, and you can rinse it.
A big part of that initial play is just not having a clue where you should be going.
Oh, of course.
So because I'm sure that I did get a little nudge from one of the gavs from You Died, where I was wandering through the woods and I was like, really not finding my next step, because part of that and just enjoying the game was enjoying going around twatting things and seeing if there's anything that I missed. And I'm sure Gav just went like, keep going in the woods. And I think I took a turn that I hadn't either seen or hadn't thought about, and was just like, oh.
I mean, it's so easy to do, though. You remember my classic one in Dark Souls 2, in the shaded woods, trying to work out where the fuck I was supposed to go next, and just didn't see the colossal path up to the Scorpion Woman. Couldn't see it. Walked past it like 10 times. Did not see it. Did not turn my camera that way. It's so easy to do.
I think this was just like a side sort of bit where I didn't think I could turn down, but then I looked further down into the level and I was like, oh, and then kind of traced a line back.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's just there.
Oh, I get it. Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
I'm so glad to hear you finally getting on with it.
Yeah.
God, it's been so long coming. It's hurt me inside for so long.
Yeah, but it's got to happen when it's right. There's no point in us sort of being jumpy up and downy for the sake of it, because I'd never want to do that. Plus, the journey that I've had with Scholar, I wouldn't take away from. So the game's not going anywhere, and hopefully there's a few other people that are now punching the air, going, "Yes, you found it!
Finally!" Play the music.
So I've yet to do the DLC, but fancy we might do that.
Yeah.
Given the messages we've had about Bro Op as well on it, possibly stream that.
Maybe.
Otherwise, I've left stuff at Canehurst Castle.
Oh,
I got walloped by a boss, so unfinished co-op.
He's a big lad, isn't he? What's next in the award thing?
The Crunchbag.
Go in the Crunchbag.
Listen to the sound of the categories.
Ooh, categories.
Listen to the rhythm of the categories. Jumping about in a crunchy bag. Right.
God, this is great, Foley.
Best TV.
Ooh. Do you want to go first this time?
I can do.
Yeah, I think anyone who's listened to this show probably knows what these are going to be. So, yeah, you go first.
So, more than anything, in 2015, tokusatsu became my very favourite thing. Moreover, that kind of amplified again in 2016. So there's lots to discover. There's no hype. Tons of surprises and really cool moments. The superhero stuff reminds me of comics and movies that I grew up adoring. And it's this little pocket of the universe I find myself getting giddy in. I've mentioned in the past about struggles with fatigue and depression, all that kind of stuff. And it's the place that equalizes any of the bad stuff. It just makes it go away. Ironically, one of the biggies for last year for me was Kamen Rider went dark with the astonishing Kamen Rider Amazons, which is pretty much superhero Resident Evil remake, even down to the bleached palette, like that
I
kind
remember
of.
You telling me about this one,
the
yeah.
Green and kind of white, and the direction was incredible. It looked wonderful. It's superbly written. The acting was fantastic. The characters were great. And even like when you looked at certain characters and just go, that's the tall guy with the book with the sniper rifle. Oh, he's the tall guy with the book with the sniper rifle. But they kind of play into it later that he is actually sort of really well read, and that he's had sort of a quiet eye on the rest of the team, and he's noticed stuff, and there's more just
because he's got a book and a thing that looks at
no,
people.
but there's more there's more than just when you see superhero teams assembled, you go like chunky guy, fast guy, magic guy, and
rich guy.
Yeah, you look at them and the way that they move the characterization in moments when it needed it, when somebody needed to step forward and move forward was how they showed the team. It had a twist in the middle which fucking battered me, and the point it ended, which I now know is a halfway point because they're doing another series. It was so deep and arty. It was incredible. Pretty much existed around this team that are very poorly paid, that work for a pharmaceutical company who were working on human genetics, and something like 2,000, 20,000, something like that, of these creatures escaped into Tokyo, and a lot of cases are picking people off, murdering them in houses, flats. There's a brilliant episode with a guy that becomes like a bus driver, and basically he fills up his bus. He goes into a tunnel, and this tunnel is just lined with the Amazons, and they just tear people apart. It's really cool. I can't really. I'm looking back now and seeing how I beamed and how I was shocked, and it was darker in not so much of a look at the swearing and being all realistic. Hey, adults.
But that's how adult things are notified, by the swearing.
But it was more that little corner of the universe which is a little bit more sinister and evil, like when Swamp Thing and Doom Patrol would exist back when Moore and Morrison wrote them in the DC universe, or I guess like a Man Thing or a Ghost Rider would be in the Marvel universe. And I like that. It's a classy tone to exist in. I also had Ultraman Orb arrived and was 89% more successful than my gateway drug, the previous year's Ultraman X. After a patchy first episodes, it found its feet around episode 4 and held this ground of kind of Superman meets Press Gang versus the Joker, and reminded me of Mark Waid's glorious work on The Flash in the 90s. I boinged around a lot of older shows, delving back into Zoo Ranger, which became Power Rangers, Time Ranger. The latest show, Zooga, was an absolute joy. Ultraman Gaia, with its superhero Thunderbirds goodness, which I continue to think you kind of dig a lot, continues to be a joy. And you showed me a new show from next year, which has got me very excited. The next Super Sentai.
Oh, I read the descriptions of the various superhero Sentais on there and was dying.
It's this 3 humans, 3 androids, 3 aliens. 9 to start off with. And I looked at that and I read it to my friend Pete, who comes around and watches like the Japanese stuff with me, and I was just like, it's just like Super Sentai Legion of Superheroes. I was like, I'm so up for this. So thank you for that, because I didn't know about it, and it's got me.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's got me very excited for. I think Zoo Ogre finishes early February, and then there's a movie coming out for the Japanese holidays featuring Zoo Ogres and Kamen Rider Ghost. But that Super Sentai series will debut in the movie, and then the first episode starts the week after.
Oh, that's cool.
Well played.
That's nice.
But yeah, to boing back a bit, I'd probably say Kamen Rider Amazons, just because it dared to be so different. The direction was really good. The tone that it took, that darker corner of the universe, rather than going grim and gritty and trying to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Yeah, so Kamen Rider Amazons. Long way around, but yeah.
Superb.
And yourself, sir?
Again, surprising nobody. Well, no, let's go around the long way to this. So I've tried a lot of anime this year. I've watched a lot. We got Crunchyroll subscription finally because of the show that I'm sure all of you will have guessed by now. And I've tried a few things on there, and we've bounced off quite a lot. We tried Gate a few weeks ago, and I don't like it. Too many waifus. This is something that's proving to be the killer of a lot of shows that we've tried, is too many waifus. They just don't interest me. I just tune out immediately. But however, the show that we watched before, which was almost the Dark Souls of anime, in that once you've seen it, everything else is ruined.
Yeah.
It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Play the music. Okay, we're back.
You're going to be the one. No,
I'm writing all the times down.
No, I was going to say that should be the point where I go.
I might just play the intro music. Fuck it. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I think no thing else this year, has had that much of an impact on me as JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has. It is.
You're watching it again, aren't you?
Over.
And
it's taken my life over.
And you're reading the manga.
I'm on my second read of the manga,
Oh,
and I'm on my second watch of the show. After a friend of the show, Gav Russell, started watching it as well, and we've been excitedly DMing back and forwards about it. And then I was like, "Oh, I'm going to watch it again." So JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, for those of you that don't know what it is a show about cool boys and vampires and zombies, and also magical ghost powers, and vampires that then become much older, and vampires that eat those vampires, and stone masks, and lots of really cool posing, and lots of cool boys just having a good boy time with boys. You know, like Final Fantasy 15 is like a boy adventure.
Because one thing I will interject here, because I remember having a chat with Guy Woodward about this and looking at those designs, just going like, why doesn't that guy work in fashion design? And Guy was like, oh, he does.
Yeah.
And showed me some of the stuff that, big collections that he's done for, I'm sure it was people like Louis Vuitton and stuff like that in fashion land. And it's like,
I could believe that.
And they look great.
Yeah.
Because that guy, more than anything, has the most radical eye on fashion. Fashion is supposed to be when you look at things and you go like, oh my god, that's really good. That's really... in the way that I used to look at Legion of Superheroes as a kid, and I'd see what I thought was how the future could look. I look at those designs, even from a distance, and my limited sort of experience of JoJo's, and just go, that guy's so creative.
And it only gets better as it goes as well. As the series progresses, I've consumed 4 of the series so far. Each of in terms of manga and the anime, the final series has literally just finished last week, with a wonderful crescendo. So a while ago, I had a bit of a moment with it on the last episode. A while ago we were talking about Fafnir.
Oh yeah. I've got more Fafnir coming next year as well.
Oh, cool. So, you were saying there was a second season of it? and then near the end or something, they played the intro music or like some of the theme from one of the first ones.
Yeah, they
right?
they got like the soundtrack to the original Fafnir was great, but it got this kind of battle music that kind of did. It was when a lot of them were sort of boarding the mechs and stuff, and they got this whole like Thunderbirds thing of getting in pods and pods being moved into chutes and them going down chutes. I love all that sort of stuff from Thunderbirds when I was a kid, but it had this kind of this build up like like Star Wars used to do, like the dun 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 dun. Or like a Superman would do, like John Williams used to use it a lot. He used that kind of character in Jaws as well. And there was a point in the most recent Fafnir series where they hadn't used it, and I was like, "This is such a huge colour. Why have you not gone near it?" And then towards the end of that particular series, you heard like the dun dun, and I was like, "You've not waited until this point," and then it would like. Boomed in. I was like, oh, beasts. But yeah.
Right. Jojo did that in the last episode. And it wasn't the intro music. No. So one of the previous Jojos who appears in the last season as an older boy, as they're taking down the final guy, as they're closing in on him, he steps forward and his like theme music starts playing. Which is a really kind of funky dun 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 dun. Like, and when it plays, the bad guy's fucked. Like the music plays, like you're done, you've lost, like it's time. And I'm sitting on the sofa going, "No, Laura, look at the telly," and she's sitting there going, "I know, I can hear it," and I'm still going, "But Laura, they're doing it again."
It's such a huge colour to play. There was a bit of there was one of the Ultraman movies where they go up to this big battling fortress in the start, and like the villain of the piece brings forward all of these villains from Ultraman, and you've got like about 8 of the Ultramen sort of like standing next to each other, and then just one of them steps forward and his theme music starts, and I was like, oh,
it's incredible.
Yeah, I love that sort of stuff. And the weird thing is that I'm sure this is going to tie into conversations we're going to have elsewhere. There's an interesting thing with fan service, and I don't mind fan service when it's kind of done like that. There's certain elements where I can just really, really enjoy those sort of things kicking in, and yet elsewhere less so.
Yeah, it's using it very sparsely. I think is better than all the time. Like just that moment that catches like, oh, there's a thing the JoJo animes do. So in the show, there's had a bunch of different intros, all of them exceptionally brilliant. But there's a thing they'll do where they'll play the sound effects of like what's going on over the intro. So you'll get the whooshes and the punches and the footsteps and stuff. And it will be on like the last but one episode of the season. And we noticed this, I think in the second season, we're like, hang on, they're doing do they always play the sound effects? I don't remember them playing the sound effects. And that turned out to be the final episode. So come the next season, you're watching it, and you start hearing whoosh, punch. It's like, oh my God, it's on.
That's awesome.
It's happening. And it's played for the last 2 episodes of the last season, so they even faked us out on that as well. 3 separate intro versions of the last intro FMV thing, which were brilliant. It's just... The thing about JoJo is it's absurd, and it's like, to the outside observer, completely ridiculous, really hard to explain to people why it's good, but it knows what it is, and it revels in it, and it takes itself seriously, and it doesn't at the same time.
But don't you feel that in times like these, especially in the year that's just gone by, that it's kind of lovely to sit down in front of something that just takes you away and takes your breath away to that kind of degree.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and like even the smallest details in this game are just incredible. Like the fact that most of the characters are named after some musician.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Credit to the first big one, which I noticed that nearly knocked me off my chair, Robert E.O. Speedwagon.
That's a beaut.
And I had a very excited DM from our friend Gav going, Speedwagon? What? Like, yes.
Isn't there a one in one of the final ones where his power is like a Queen-related song that I saw you too?
Okay, yeah, The stand's name is Killer Queen.
Yeah.
It has a secondary bomb called Sheer Heart Attack.
Well played.
And then it gains a third power later on called Bites the Dust.
That was the one. Well played.
Which is Bites the Dusto! And whenever it activates, it's like, oh, they're doing it again. Like in the third season, shouting Sawardo at people.
You realise when you're this connected to the Japanese dub and the way things are pronounced, you can never hear a Western dub in these.
Never. I will never be able to watch it. I caught like a short bit of the Toonami version that came out of the first season this year, and it just makes me angry how bad it is. Like, the voices are funny. Like, they're very, very English and very over the top. But no. The guy who plays Dio in particular puts forward the voice acting performance of a lifetime. Like, nothing, like, they could never be better. There could never be a better voice actor for that character. It's perfect. I like JoJo so much that my new fish that I got for my birthday, I have 3 fish now. And my fish are called JoJo, Dio, and Speedwagon. And it's really fun introducing people to my fish, JoJo, Dio, and Speedwagon, because they look at me and they say, Speedwagon? I'm like, look,
this is where you put your arm around them and they go like, before they know it, there's a selection of snacks on the coffee table and they're sitting on the couch and Crunchyroll is booting.
The music from some Willy Wonka starts playing, come with me and we'll be in a world of lovely boy fun. But yeah, it's incredible. It's maybe the best anime I've ever seen, and that's saying something. It gets me. It's like, here's a picture of my face. We're going to make a show for him, and a manga series for him, and a series of offshoots and products that he wants to buy for him. My wallet will be empty by this time next year.
Again, I will relate to Guy Woodward and the fact that the amount of toys that he's bought of those beautiful boys. And they're all lining his shelf, and they are incredible toys, but I presume they are incredibly expensive as well.
Yeah, I mean, I will lose the house, but I will have lots of plastic boys. Yeah. So
I'm glad your focus is bladed and
always
sincere.
So yeah, JoJo, best telly, best anime, best everything. Fuck it, best game, best film, best car, best new console of the year, all JoJo. Do I hear the Foley of a Crunchbag?
Yes, you
Is it that time again?
Yes. Best movie.
Best movie? JoJo. No.
I'm sure there is.
Play the music! Okay, I didn't actually have a best movie until I actually sat down and thought about it, because I don't really watch a lot of films anymore. Netflix has become a bit of a sort of a wasteland of I've seen everything I want to see on it now. I'm not up to date with Marvel, not even close. And we just don't go see many films these days. But when I thought about it, I thought there is a film I saw this year, which was amazing, and I didn't expect it to be brilliant. That film was Deadpool.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that was a great film and very rewatchable as well.
The thing I liked about Deadpool is that my comments are quite short on this. I don't have a lot to go on, but basically, when it was announced, I was like, oh, because Deadpool the character has kind of got a bit old. I mean, it's got a bit old a few years ago, but it's a bit old now. The whole I'm wacky, chimichangas. Hey, look, I'm speaking to the viewer. You know, it's got a little bit thick for me now. I'm kind of past it. And I thought, well, you know, it's going to be all right, I guess. But it's going to spend the entire film talking to the camera, and it's going to be boring. And it's going to be lol random. And then the first sort of footage started turning up with Ryan Reynolds. It's like, oh, okay, they've got the right guy for it. And, you know, it was funny. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'm into it. And then we got hold of the film shortly after the DVD release. And I was amazed at how restrained the fourth wall breaking stuff turned out to be. I expected it to do far more than it actually did. I think the reason I think I reacted so positively to it is because they didn't lean into it too hard. There was a few, you know, like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool saying, hey, I don't look like Ryan Reynolds anymore, which is quite funny. And mentioning, you know, CG green suits. I was like, okay, yep. Good gag. But it was fun. And it was very R-rated. That's fine because I think it's allowed sometimes.
I think it got a lot of heart as well, and I think that went by the wayside a little bit. Plus, as an old school X-Men fan in remission, proper Colossus. Colossus.
Yeah.
I know that they retooled Negasonic Human Warhead from the Grant Morrison version to the screen version, but that worked really well as well. I thought they were great, and just a brilliantly watchable movie. Again, one of those things that just takes you beyond the real world, and the marketing as a Valentine's movie, the way that those posters were done up like a romance were superb, and the amount of money that he brought in, I think it's really interesting, not only because of that, and the Valentine's Day crowd wanted to go and see something that had heart but also had a laugh, and that it doesn't need to be kind of a kissy movie to get bums on seats on Valentine's Day, but plus the one film that Fox were not asked about and left to do its own thing is the one that ends up generating more money for them than anything else. And it should be interesting with the sequel because the director's gone. I believe the guy that they brought in is very good. And when something's successful, more people always want a spoon in the mixture. And so it'd be interesting to see if the sequel fights in the same way, but this is now all on Reynolds.
Yeah, but did you hear? I heard a weird rumor that Deadpool might be turning up in Logan.
Yeah,
which is odd.
I don't know.
Maybe as a reference, I can't see it working like that because that's probably going to be my film of next year at this point because that trailer got me all kinds of excited. But like Deadpool, it's just. I think the fact that it does stand on its own as well, because I'm very over Marvel in general now. I can't keep up anymore. I don't have the patience. The reason that I stopped reading the damn comics is because you've got to read 17 different books to know exactly who's who and what's going on.
You say that, there's like 2, maybe 3 films a year. That's not really...
And 3 TV shows.
Yeah, but you don't. The TV stuff is completely unrelated to the movie stuff.
I don't know. It's a big shared universe now, and like I feel like if you don't watch some of it, you're going to miss out on some other stuff. No. And I hate missing things. It's just.
I think you're overcomplicating.
And the fact there's too many characters now, and it's all got a bit. Oh, it's big, and I preferred it when it was more character focused almost.
You realise you've come from JoJo's, where there's like 1 billion people, and multiple series where you're then going, oh, I'm not sure about this Marvel. Not like back in my day when there were 300 JoJo's and people that were named after songs and bands. Also people that made music.
Look, there's they've got superpowers that are cool though.
All right, Dad, have a sit down on Alex.
I don't know. I think maybe it's the superhero genre in general that I'm tired of. I don't know. Look, maybe I just needed something. Maybe I needed something fresh. Maybe that's what.
I think that's it more than anything else. That you just needed a different take, and I think that JoJo has taken that place in the same way as like the Super Sentai Kamen Rider stuff is putting me in mind of the superhero stuff that I grew up with, and has a level of joy and celebration and risk taking as well. I think when you take your eye off trying to be realistic and relatable and hit like the largest market possible, you can tend to do daft stuff like when I mentioned with the guy who played Space Sheriff Gavin was kidnapped to the Maku dimension where no one could reach, and they found the 2 other characters that the same actor had played and used them to open a portal to get to Gavan. Yeah. Fucking A! That's still one of the finest, most wonderful plot twists. And especially at the end where they just got all 3 characters together and the actors going, yeah, we do look alike. I hadn't really noticed this. And they just, I think it was Gokai Silver, just asked them all if they'll transform at the same time at the top of these steps. Yes!
Maybe that's it. Maybe it is just like that whole getting a fresh break from something. I mean, I don't think I've bought a Spider-Man or Batman or superhero book in about 2 years now. But I've bought. Oh boy, have I bought a Mountain of 2000 AD. Oh, mercy if I picked up a lot of 2000 AD this year. To the point we had to buy a new bookcase.
Yeah,
Whoops.
That's, again, I just see that as sincerity.
Fresh break, yeah, absolutely. So back around to the beginning, my film of the year was Deadpool. What was yours?
My favourite film of 2016 is Shin Godzilla.
I heard Aaron on the Game Grumps talking about this on an episode of the Dark Souls 3 DLC that I watched this morning. And it sounded interesting, and I would like to hear more about that.
It is great. Let me tell you more about that.
Good, I will sit down and not enjoy this setup for more information.
So, creatures slivers up from the sea into Tokyo, evolves again, fucks everything up. America threatens to drop the atom bomb on Tokyo to get rid of it. It's a film about politicians, scientists, all working together to try and figure out what the creature is, how to get rid of it, how to pull resources, and enact the plan itself. It's a really smart film. There's a lot of politics. Amazing renditions of Godzilla, because you see different versions of him as he goes through, and a huge final moment, like where you just go, "Oh, please do another one." And not even that. Like the final moment where Japan attempts to take down the creature is stunning. And a lot of it is like, well, we want to do this thing. Well, how are we going to manufacture that in time? Right. Well, we could go black market routes. We're speaking to Finland, speaking to Russia. Like, there's a lot of this sort of stuff as to how people are going to do it, especially with this 2-week ultimatum that's there that America's given them, and also this nice little aside where the Prime Minister's saying, well, I can't be the Prime Minister that allows America to drop another atom bomb on Tokyo. And one of the other politicians just said, look, if this thing had turned up in New York, the same process would be going on. So it's like, oh, that's really cool. But it's really intelligent, really brilliant. There is a lot of politicians talking to each other. It's a very talky movie in that regard. But it's directed by Hideki Anno, who did Neon Genesis Evangelion. And the special effects are done by the same chap who did the Gamera trilogy, which I mentioned previously. So yeah, I loved it to pieces. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. But I'm going to add something else from another year as well, because we're not doing movies from another year. But
it's our list. Do what you want.
But again, it's a belter that I saw recently, which I've now watched twice. Could easily put on straight away afterwards. It's filmed from.
Let me guess. Hang on. Is this the one that starts with the word "fall"?
No.
Okay.
It's from 2003. This one. Basically, a new Godzilla attacks Japan, and it's discovered that this Godzilla is immune to maser fire, which is the lasers that are fired at the beast and have kind of gone on since like the early days. The models still look like sort of these little radar dishes on beams that have got like light bulbs in them, which I love. They've just like evolved them a little bit as it's gone on. So Japan's defenseless against a Godzilla attack. The government get together the country's best scientists to concoct a solution and discover the bones of the original Godzilla from 1954, and using DNA and technology build Mechagodzilla. It's an absolutely storming film. There's incredible practical effects. The best sort of fighter jet I've seen in forever, in the AC-3 White Heron fighter jet, which left me and my mate Pete screaming like, "Model kit! Need model kit now!" And I can't find one.
Please to buy in the model shop.
It's like there's a really brilliant lead actor who's also very hot. And it's an absolute keeper. A sequel followed, a Godzilla times Mothra times Mechagodzilla Tokyo SOS, which is kind of a retread.
That sounded confusing.
Yeah, which is kind of a retread, but not as good. Yeah, the battle scenes and practical work is just top drawer again. Suffers from having a lead actor that just doesn't own the screen in the same way as the original last did. But yeah, Godzilla times Mechagodzilla is just storming. Absolutely huge. I loved it. But best film 2016, Shin Godzilla.
Nice. Where can one acquire that film? Because I want to watch it and I don't know where to get it from.
I will furnish you with links, sir.
Cool. An Amazon link, yes?
Of course. Actually,
yes.
The weird thing is, from getting into so much of this stuff, is that Godzilla stuff just isn't available over here, bar like the early, was it 1998 American remake, the recent remake, the original 1954 is on DVD. There's lots of them available in the States, but it seems that the transfer to Blu-ray's been really poor. So it's, again, when you're up against stuff like that, and you've got a fan base that's ravenous to buy new stuff, why it isn't available, that's the reason people are going to like stream stuff.
Yeah.
So
let us buy the stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you've seen with the Ultraman thing's been a prime example of that. First, Ultraman X goes on Crunchyroll, does really well. All of that, like the other, like about 5 or 6 other series, Ultraman series go on Crunchyroll, do well as well. Ultraman Orb comes out, is 89% more successful than Ultraman X. So all of that money's going to go back into like the next series. I've got an Ultraman Orb prequel that's coming out on Amazon, which is apparently coming over here as well, which is great. And a movie. It's give people the ability to support something, and they'll support it. I keep seeing on Twitter like people going like, "Oh well, you should support the anime industry and not go on to like streaming sites." It's like, well, it's one thing you saying that as an American who's got like Crunchyroll's partnership with Funimation in the States, but there's only a handful of that stuff that comes onto the official one. My subscription's in there, happy to support the anime industry, but when that stuff's not there, cheerio.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not all on Crunchy. Speaking of Crunchy, I can hear a bag.
I was wondering where you were going there. I was thinking, not now, son. I'm fishing for luckies.
Put the celebrations away.
Yeah.
What's our next category?
Biggest disappointment.
Ooh, I'm going to let you go first.
I really didn't have one.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, although
there we go. That's both done.
To interject from something else, I despised Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Oh, okay. That's okay. You can put that on your list.
I'll kick in a movie there. It was just like they'd written 10 things that Star Wars did. It was uninspired. It was unimaginative. J.J. Abrams just does not make good movies. And that was an itch in the back of my mind when before this came out. But I was like, oh, everybody really likes it. People that really like Star Wars really like it. But I just thought it was...
It was poops. It was. Thing is that my problem with that was that it wasn't that the film was particularly bad. It was just mediocre, and that was worse because Star Wars should be better than that.
I just...
The expectations make it that much worse because it's like, this is supposed to be brilliant, and it's just... It
seemed insincere. It seemed like it had been put together on a graph or a pie chart or something. And from having read the Timothy Zahn books, which followed on from Jedi, like way back in the 90s, which were canon for a long time, those are exceptional. Those are absolutely exceptional, better than the original Star Wars trilogy. And whilst I had no hangover from those because they were doing a different thing, to then contrast my disappointment, even anger, with Force Awakens, with just how brilliant those books were, into the bin. And it's kind of... It's making me a little bit reluctant to see Rogue One because I'm still seeing the same amount of people like bouncing up and down.
Let me stop you. You know my opinion on Force Awakens.
I do.
Yeah, the Dark Souls 3 of Star Wars. Like, you know my opinion on Force Awakens. Rogue One is so much better. It's so much better. I wanted to go and watch it again and then go home and watch Episode 4. I came out of that film excited and happy to be Star Wars person again. Like, it's... You know how in Force Awakens, how it's all trying to tell you, look how Star Wars I am. Look,
really
there's
is.
a Millennium Falcon and a desert planet and there's a round thing that shoots planets and we're going to go break it. Like, every pore of that game, like, oh, someone's dad's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like,
do you like Dashboard Confessional? Are those still popular? Imagine if that lad was Darth Vader's kid.
oh, and I got furious at it.
Oh no,
and,
he's
like,
not Darth Vader's kid, is he? He's Han Solo's kid.
It's Han Solo's kid, and he hates his
giant,
dad.
yeah.
Oh, he hates his dad. Oh, he hates his dad.
I hate my dad too. I don't.
Fucking hate my dad. So so that's Force Awakens. Like, it's saying, hey, look at all this Star Wars. Rogue One doesn't say that. It just is a Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
It is a Star Wars, and it doesn't tell you it's a Star Wars. You just know that it's a Star Wars because that's how it feels. It feels like Star Wars without having to go, hey, look at me being a Star Wars now.
You see, I'm curious, and we'll wait for like the Monday and Tuesday at the local cinema where it's like £5.60 to get in, as opposed to like 12, 15, 16 quid now, whatever it is. I don't know.
You might as well just fund the movie yourself. It's faster.
And I don't know if I'm done with Star Wars now.
Go see Rogue One before you decide.
I don't know if I'm there. I really don't.
I don't care. Go see it. You owe me this.
How dare you?
I tell you that it's better. Believe me.
It's
a good film. It's a good film. It's a good film. You sound like you're going for another category, but I haven't done mine yet. The crunchy bag hits the floor.
Lots of drama this one. Yeah.
Okay, so my biggest disappointment this year of 2016, I had two games to pick from this time. I tossed and turned them in my head a bit because two games have really let me down this year. But the game I have gone for is No Man's Sky.
Oh, okay. Do it.
Yes. Well, okay, so while I wasn't one of the crazy Reddit people who were proclaiming No Man's Sky to be the second coming of Christ and the only game you'll ever need, like, I wasn't one of those people, but I was cautiously excited for it. You know, it looked fun. It looked like, hey, look, I can just go whiz bang in space, like, forever. Brilliant. You know, that sounds like the sort of thing I'd want to play. Great. As the launch was building up, you know, the hype was getting a bit weird. Like, people were getting very, very hyped up about some stuff, and like the marketing was strange for it, and I don't know. I just remember that like the week it came out was an odd week because there was this like immediate backlash about it, and I didn't get into it until a couple of days in. I don't think so. I'd seen a little bit already. I was like, well, people are kind of playing it on their own. You know, they're trying to bash through it, and that's probably not how to enjoy it. You probably want to, take your time and enjoy it. And for the first hour, I did. I really liked it. For the first 5, 6, even 10 hours, I would say, I was enjoying hopping around planet to planet, picking stuff up and finding a new word for my alien language and getting in my ship and buying a new ship and buying a new gun. And it was all right. And then sort of sometime around, I don't know, maybe hour 10, must have been, something in my head just sort of went, what are you doing? This is boring. And once I'd noticed it was boring, I tried to go back to it a couple of times, and
you can't shake it off. When
I just couldn't.
There was an interesting thing on Eurogamer where they were saying that No Man's Sky, the upswing of No Man's Sky is that it may change the way that games are marketed, because a lot of people are looking at that backlash and they're going, maybe we shouldn't overpromise. Maybe we should state what's actually there, what's actually happening, give people a clear idea. Maybe we should announce things closer to the release date,
because it's been a 3-year build, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's an interesting a Eurogamer piece on Astroneer, which is a No Man's Sky like game, but you can you've got like this sort of gun that can populace like sort of hoover up bits of planet and build it elsewhere, and you build space stations and stuff, and you can play like Minecraft. You can play like multi different people online, and you can build your ships, and you can extend out beyond your bases and stuff. And it's on early access on Xbox One and PC. Okay. Which means that, and apparently it's like really, really enjoyable already. Eurogamer were raving about it, but there's clearly like stuff that it needs to do and places it needs to go. But they want to build the audience, they want to listen to the audience, etc. And I think it's a really smart place for a game like that to be. And I know Sony doesn't want to do early access stuff, but I just wonder if rather than the smoke and mirrors and the 50 quid price tag, if the equivalent of, if they put it out at 23 quid, basically said, we're in for the ride, there's lots to do, this is the game where it starts out, they would have maintained an audience, and probably who would have been like incredibly enthusiastic when updates hit and that sort of stuff, rather than people expecting something they didn't get. Or...
I've paid 50 quid for something that has bored me in 5 minutes.
But I mean, you've seen this sort of stuff with that Ark Survival Evolved, is it? The thing that's been going on?
Dinosaur one.
Yeah. Elite Dangerous has been doing it on Xbox One for a little while in that regard. And there's one called Subnautica, which apparently is very much like Astroneer, but underwater.
Yeah, I've seen that one, yeah.
And I just think it's a really good idea for... We Happy Few's doing it at the minute, whereby they're working out like the mechanics and stuff, and there's not really much story in there at the minute, but you know, it's extra investment for the company to keep doing and keep going and keep trying stuff. And I just think that... I just wonder if they'd have been much, much better in that option, so people could actually get a feel for what's there. You know, maybe have. I'm sure Elite Dangerous had like a trial version before you
beta
you
or
got
something
into
like
it.
that. Yeah.
No, it wasn't even that. You can go on. You can play the game maybe 20, 25 hours.
That's quite a good trial.
Yeah, and then I think the game's like, I'm sure when it finally releases, it'll probably be close to 40, but it's about 23, 28 quid, and it dropped to 10 recently in a sale. So I don't know. I just think those are good for games where you can't really sell them in a bullet point. And I just wonder what's happening with that company and where they go from here. Because as I understand it, that new update is substantial. But I just think if you've got an enthusiastic audience and you're building on what was there, and maybe more people would have pitched in with like a 23 quid. On early access than would have gone for the full whack of 50.
Yeah. See, I don't know if that update's enough though.
You wouldn't have had those people going like, it's not a 50 quid game.
Yeah,
because that would have been nixed entirely. And I just think that I know it's frustrating. It's really frustrating because a lot of us wanted to believe in that.
I know. And that update that came out, I mean, it's cool that you can build a base, but the entire time I watched the trailer that sort of explained everything that's going on in the DLC. It's like 6 minutes long. I was like, okay, I'm going to watch it. I was taking it all in, and it got to the end, and I think I just said, why would I do all this? Why would I build a base? It just seems to be build an identikit. Or you can build it wherever you want, but it's the same 12 rooms essentially. I think it's too little, too late at this point.
I kind of feel that sort of thing whenever I see like Fallout 4, where they've got like, you know, you build your own village and stuff. Part of me just goes, really? Yeah,
it's going to be sort of similar to everyone else's functionally, you know. It might look a bit different, but yeah, it didn't. It's too little, too late for me. And like I say, the fact that we've, gone and thrown 40 quid at it and just got bored of it so quickly. Like Laura wanted to play it herself and just drifted away into something else. And I really wanted to like it. You know, if we could have all played together, okay, I know this is. I'm not trying to say programming games is easy here. I'm not going to be that dickhead, okay? But if that thing had multiplayer, I don't think I'd be having this conversation.
You know, so I mean, with regards to like Astroneer again, even in the state that it's in now, if I could meet up with you and a few other people, and we could build a base, we could hoover up bits of moon and build them elsewhere, we could extend sort of the life out beyond the space station we were building and explore to other places and stuff. I can see us not only like nerding out of that sort of stuff, but having like a Destas type chat.
That's it.
Just like a catch up, and it's like, oh, I've vacuumed that bit of earth up. Oh, I've dug down, and rather than it being like a steady like chunk down, it's like it's literally you've got like a vacuum cleaner that hoovers up moon and spiffs it out elsewhere. And I'd love that. I just think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. See, like with a multiplayer, it could be like, right, let's all meet together. Let's go to that blue planet and see what we can find. Like, I found this, I found that. Like, that would have been brilliant. But
even if it wasn't kind of like everybody in the same universe, if it was like, right, pick 4 mates,
Yeah, that would have been fine.
Just like have your own little bottle universe.
Just something. But it's really upsetting to see because, like I say, I wanted it to be good, and it disappointed me slightly more than the other game. Should we talk about it?
What? Who?
There's another game that disappointed me.
Okay.
A little bit less. Before I reveal it, I'm going to go turn off the filter on my fish tank, so I realised I've left it on. Marker. Watch me forget. Those were probably some heavy footsteps, weren't they?
They were indeed.
They felt bad. So yeah, the other game that really disappointed me this year was Dark Souls 3.
Ooh, you went there.
It's not even. It wasn't even considered for my Game of the Year list. Sorry, that's a spoiler, everyone. But it just. You know how you felt about Force Awakens?
Oh, yeah.
That's how I feel about Dark Souls 3. Really? It's just, hey, look, I'm a Dark Souls. It's not enough. It's just not enough. And I've just finished listening to the entire of the Bonfire Side Chat Dark Souls 3 season. And every time they were talking about, like, lore things and callbacks and stuff like that, my brain was tagging out. I just don't care anymore. Okay, let me clarify that. I care about Dark Souls quite a lot. You know, I care a lot about the story of the first one. I care a lot about the story of the second one. The third one, it's gone too long. It's not done enough different this time. And the fact that it fetishizes Dark Souls 1 as much as it does really puts me off. Like, in the same way that Force Awakens is like, hey, look, it's a Millennium Falcon. Dark Souls 3 is like, hey, look, it's a Solaire. It's an onion, bro. Hey, look, it's Gurry, isn't it? No, it's too little, too late, and I don't know. I want it to be better.
We will have a wibble about this in a bit.
Yeah, but this will be that's a different show. But I felt I couldn't leave it without talking about it. I had to mention it. Is that the sound of a crunch bag I hear?
The sound of a crunch bag.
The sound of an errant crunch bag discarded to the floor and then returned.
Placed on a pile of t-shirts and
soft to mask the sound of the crunch bag. Ooh.
Game I replayed.
Okay. I'll go first this time.
Which was your sort of late thing, and I was like, can people even replay games? Is that a thing games can do? And I was like, oh.
Are there game? Like, do you have time to play a game again?
You just has game.
Who does has game?
You just has game.
I played a lot of old games this year. Back on my Vita because I've been kicked off the telly quite a lot. Because Laura's been playing stuff. I've been digging back into old Final Fantasies and stuff. Your Final Fantasy 9 and 8 particularly, I've been really digging back into it, having some fun with that. Trying a lot of old PS1 classics as well, picking them back up again, trying out, I think I was putting Toomey back in. I had another quick run through Metal Gear Solid this year. But the game that I would say I've replayed the most this year, which kind of counts and kind of doesn't count, it's Spelunky.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it only came out a couple of years ago. And it was actually on my Game of the Year list. Was it last year or the year before?
Probably the year before.
Probably the year before.
It's probably on both of them because I'm sure it didn't come out on like Vita and PS3 at different times, or I don't know. Say the year before.
Yeah, why not? Not this year. So Spelunky, like, I'd put it down for a while. I'd reached a skill ceiling. I was getting to the jungle. I couldn't really get much further. And then I don't know. Laura was on the telly, and I needed to play something quick on my Vita because I was bored. And I thought, what have I got installed? I thought, Rogue Legacy, I enjoyed that. I flicked through and saw Spelunky again. I thought, well, go on then. I'll put you back on. Go on then. Before I knew it, I'm hooked again. I have played Spelunky, I would argue, every day for the last 3 months.
And you see, you intrigue me on this. You intrigue me because I played a little bit of Spelunky. I don't know if it was... everybody told me the demo was bad and not to be put off by the demo. And I may have played a little bit of it beyond that. I don't know, but it came on backwards compatibility in Games with Gold like a little while ago. So it's sitting on my Xbox One hard drive. But I just haven't put it on. And when we had a conversation recently about Spelunky, I was like, that is there. And that looks like the sort of thing I can kind of put on at the end of the day and just sort of super zone out to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you know what does it? Do you know
smash
why I've played every day? Is because they've got a daily challenge
Yeah,
on that game, and it is. It's like, oh, it'll only take 10 minutes. I'm not that good. I won't last that long. Let's see how well I can do. And it's quite fun seeing, oh, I'm in the top 250 today. Brilliant. Only 250 people probably play it at that point, but still, I'm in the top 250 on this machine. You get one go at it, and then that's your score. And then the main game is it's roguelike, so the levels are different every time. So you really have to learn. It's not about learning the world and learning patterns. It's about learning how to read what's in front of you, learning how to react to what the game throws at you. It may throw some situations up that are impossible sometimes, or it may have the dog or woman or man, whichever you choose, to save to give you some health back. It may have them in a really awkward position, but with some creative thinking and some bombs and some tricking the AI into jumping into its own death, you can actually think your way around a lot of these problems. And the fact that it's like roguelike, it astounds me, because every single level that it's brought up to me has been fun. Like there's something in each level, and it's the same, the same 100 pieces smashed together in different ways. But the way it puts them together, it knows the limits of how far a body can jump. There's always a straight path to the goal. You can always get there. You may not be able to get much of the bonus stuff, but you can always get to the end. So if you can avoid everything and get to the finish, you're moving on. You're getting to the next level. And I've only just got to the third set of levels, as far as I'm aware, because obviously I've not beaten it yet. A run of Spelunky is four levels in the mines, 4 levels in the forest, 4 levels in an icy place, and then 4 levels somewhere else. And I've got to the second level of the icy place, like level 10, is the best I can do. And that is on my best day, paying attention. And even then, the random number generator will absolutely fuck you sometimes. You'll hop off a ledge and think you're safe and fall straight onto some spikes and it's game over. With a really disturbing finality of splash, game over. And your character sinks very slowly onto them just to highlight the point. It just plays so good. Like the controls are tight. The randomization means you really have to watch out for what you're picking up and keeping your eye on the shop and thinking, I can almost afford the shotgun. If I can get the shotgun, then I'll be doing really, really well. I just need 100 more gold. Where can I find some gold? And you run away and come back, and by that point, the shopkeeper's got mad and shot you. But it's I'm not good at it. I have not finished it, and I die within 10 minutes every time I play it. But it's so one more go. You really can't leave it alone. After it, you have to go, nope, I'm putting it down now. I don't need to play one more game. I will just play one more. Just one more game. One more game. Okay,
I think
one
it's
more.
having it on your hard drive as well, and not having to fish out a disc in that regard.
It's always there. The Vita's it's always on the Vita as well. It's in it's in my mental folder of never deletes. It's always going to be there for me when I need it, because it's just so infinitely replayable.
I feel that way. I was that way about Lumines on Vita and PS3, and I know it's backwards compatible on Xbox One. I've been meaning to buy it because it's £6.95 or something, and I still haven't done it. And Lumines is one of my favourite games ever. So that's.
But yeah, that was my favourite replay, which is kind of probably a continuing play after a 10-month break. But fuck, it's my list. It's my show, so what I want.
Yeah.
What was your replay of the year of 2016?
Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed.
Oh!
Which
great. Play the music? Play the music? Play the music, fuck it.
It's I adored it on Wii U, and it's recommended by Midnight Resistance back in the day. I remember there was a build to Mario Kart 8 coming out at that point. I quite fancied the kart racer, so played it, loved it. Not particularly a massive Sega fan, to be honest, but just properly loved that game. Loved the music, the design of the levels, the way they continually evolved. Rather than just being 3 zips around a track and then you're done super quickly. That you were always on your toes. There was always something new about it, and it turned up on Xbox One backwards compatibility, which meant that you were not only racing against Xbox One players, but between yourselves and Xbox 360 players, which meant it was the online was far more packed than the Wii U version was, which was always a little bit sparse. Game still runs at a beautiful clip. Everything I loved about it, I love about it more now. And I'd actually, for me, it's probably my favourite racing game of all time, maybe. Up there with Burnout. up there with Burnout 3. I maybe one of my favourite games ever. It was one of those that when it was announced, I was like, no, and sort of bought it immediately. But I'm now looking at it on the store, and I think it's about like 13 quid on the store. So it's another one of those I'd like to have on the hard drive.
I've got the Vita version myself, and it's equally as good. It's brilliant.
It's just a joy to play, and that soundtrack, the Afterburner level, is seriously one of the greatest levels I've ever seen in a racing game. But the Shinobi level's fantastic. The opening one, the Sonic one is fantastic. The Samba de Amigo level is stunning, where you appear to be like racing in lager at a certain point. It's an absolute joy. I'm a big fan of those lads in Sheffield that did that sumo, and I just think it's just a tremendous game. It reminds, because whereas I'm not particularly a Sega fan, I didn't get a Mega Drive or a Master System or a Saturn or any of that kind of stuff, so I haven't got the same resonance as other people. But I was a really big fan as a kid of Sega in the arcades, so it just reminds me of all of those machines I'd seen, Skegness in the summer and the Afterburners and the Outruns, and it is just so much fun to play. But I'm speaking to the converted on that front. I think you're
no arguments here.
with me.
Thing is, I'm the same. I'm not. I had a Master System, but I wouldn't call myself a massive Sega fan. I had Sonic, and everything else I like was sort of weird cheap games I picked up here and there. But yeah, just that game, like, it makes you care about the nostalgia of it. Like, the Shinobi level, you're like, this is brilliant. Like, I want more of this.
You're kind of feeling nostalgia that maybe you've not got the nostalgia to feel. But I think for me, it's reaching back to those old school arcade machines, and I love the fact that the twists and turns that you can do in midair, where you can get like the extra boots and stuff. And when you're on that Shinobi level and you're racing up those steps, and then you can you jump over the top of the steps and you're twisting in the air, and you've got the little shortcuts and stuff. I enjoy the way that the characters celebrate as they go past. I always race as Beat from Jet Set Radio.
Okay.
Because I kind of like that little motorbike thing that he's got, that quad bike. But it's just, it makes me happy to play it. And when you come in and you just kick it on and you just hear that great music and you start racing, and I just don't get bored of it. And considering I was massively disappointed by Mario Kart 8, I did not enjoy it at all. This to me is like the greatest console racer, and beautiful to see it on even by default on this generation of consoles, because I think it's a bit special.
Speaking of Mario Kart, while we're there, I got a copy of Mario Kart, the DS one. The first DS one, the other with my DS that I picked up ages ago. Right, so how can you play that for more than 10 minutes at a time?
It's been a long time.
The cramp, dear God, the cramp. I don't understand how people can do it. As a wanker, you'd assume I'd have good wrists, but no, it's just pain. I can't do it for more than 10 minutes. It's awful. Just letting that one sit.
Yeah.
Just
letting it drift. It's been that long since I played that, and I'm sure I didn't even play that online. It was just offline. So
yeah, I remember when I came around to your house and we played Sega All Stars on the Wii, didn't we? With the Wii U, with the 2-screen gameplay, one on the TV, one on the Wii pad, and that was brilliant. That was really fun, wasn't it?
And that's something else that's unappreciated about it. And I forgot this aspect because this has only happened like a couple of times with my friend Natasha and with you. Couch co-op.
Isn't it the best?
It's just a lovely. It's a lovely game to play anyway. It's great to play against your friends online. It's great to play against strangers online as well. But it's the couch co-op stuff. There's something quite magical about it that I can never quite put my finger on, and that's one of the reasons that I keep playing it, I think. So yeah,
great. So we what is the next Crunchbag category?
Crunchbag category.
There should be 2 left, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Wanted to play more.
Okay, after you, sir.
Right, I'm placing the Crunchbag down.
Is it upon the t-shirt pile of shush?
The pile of stuff is where it sits. The game I wish I'd played more of. I was going to put Final Fantasy 15 in on this because I bought it on launch day, and just December was just so manic. I just didn't get near it. I am playing it now and think it's chuffing wonderful.
Isn't it good?
Yeah.
I'm watching Laura play. Isn't it good?
It's great. And I never thought I'd care about those boys, but I care about those boys a hell of a lot.
Who's best boy?
Gladio.
He's second best boy for me. It's Ignis.
Really?
I've come up with a new recipe.
Recipe.
And
there was a thing like the other night when I was playing it where I got like a boost because it says, this is Nock's favourite food. And he basically made, it was called Dish and Chips.
Yep.
Which essentially was chips, one Italian lettuce leaf, 2 bits of lime, and a dollop of ketchup.
Some people have simple tastes.
Well, Nock, you thought he'd been like, I don't know.
Well, he doesn't like vegetables, does he? So that's probably quite good for him.
Caviar on.
Now, if you'll have seen the Brotherhood anime on Crunchyroll or the YouTube, you'll notice that Noct actually takes all the vegetables out of his burgers and eats them without the veg.
I have not seen that.
He doesn't like vegetables that much. Doesn't like beans either.
I feel like I've grown.
It's good. You should watch it. It's really good. It's worth a watch. Quick.
It reminds me of Dragon's Dogma a lot. And the combat is magnificent. I love the combat to pieces. And at first I was kind of a little bit like, whereas in Xenoblade Chronicles X I walked out into that world and just went, oh my god, look at it, and there was just life. And stuff that could wallop me, stuff that was like huge amounts of levels above me, so stuff that I could get near. It was terrifying. And I walked out into this, was like, where are the things to hit? Oh, I found another potato. Where are the things that are lead and pepper? Where are the things? Oh, some dogs have teleported in front of me. Do they do that, or is it? It doesn't matter. Oh, there's a potato. But I did the thing where I was kind of just trying to do every quest and fight as much as possible. So when I did get near to Hunter rank 2, but didn't have any more quests to do because I wasn't Hunter rank 2.
Yeah.
That's when I nudged the story on a little bit and found that I was not only supremely overleveled, but it was like, hi there, if only you could get me a... Well, thanks for that. If only you could get me... Wow, thanks. I'll be right on that. And Cindy with all her like, oh, I got some wax for you. I'll apply it by hand. And be like, why? That seems a little rude.
And then... well, okay, but, just to agree with you, Laura has done the exact same thing, where she has done all the side quests because she's enjoying them and having a lot of fun. And she's literally, she got to a point where she had to move the story on a little bit. Yeah. To give you an idea, she's on approaching 40 hours now. Yeah. She's on chapter 3.
I think I'm the same as Laura now.
Yeah.
Because I put it on, when was it? There was a point last week, I think, where I put it on, and literally like about 8 hours went.
Have you got to Lestalem yet?
I've just got onto I went to the ferry, or tried to get on the ferry, and then nudged that bit of story on, and then I nudged on the next bit of story, which led me beyond the main area, like down a little path, so it's opened up the world a little bit. But I've just had the choice where it's like, do you want to meet that person? Do you want to ride on a giant chicken? Oh, I wonder.
And isn't it great how the other boys just like their chickens jump and bounce in the background as well?
I've not rode the chicken. I've just made that choice,
mate. Mate, you can power slide them.
Oh, that's cool,
mate. Laura won't do it. So they go make it skid, and she's like, "No, please make it skid," and she insists on not.
Against Noct.
Against
all of the odds, it's a really good game, and I think I like the fact that it doesn't hold your hand. That it's not going like, oh, you should really go to here. When there is that indecision of like, oh, I don't really want to get on the ferry because I think I've still got stuff to do here, and he makes you like deliberate and stuff.
Yeah,
and I kind of dig that.
What's your favourite photo Prompto's taken so far? Because it is good, isn't it?
I do like that. I like the whole camping stuff. I like the fact that food actually brings on your level and stuff.
I like that in the photos, Gladio is a massive goof. Every picture we've got as Gladio is just him gurning and giving a thumbs up, or like going, or doing a weird jump.
I don't know.
He's brilliant.
The one that I meant to mention before I went off on Final Fantasy 15, because I've only just started playing it now, is Stardew Valley.
Oh,
which arrived at a time when work had been silly, so I didn't really get much chance to guard it. Looks like the sort of game that your good lady would absolutely love.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. She's got enough telly time this year. I need it back.
You've got your Harvest Moon type stuff in there,
Yeah.
but the thing that surprised me is it's got a real Twin Peaks feel amidst that. Really quirky, really unusual. It's great, the stuff that I've played, but I want to play more of it. But Laura would love it, properly love it.
God, I know she would.
No, 100%. I know from the conversations that we've had with things like Don't Starve and Dragon Quest Builders and stuff, Laura will 100,000,000% love it.
Because it's her favourite genre of game, picking up sticks in the forest.
Yeah, well, when you even the start sort of surprised me, because I expected sort of just to go straight into your Harvest Moon stuff, but it got like a tale about your grandfather basically saying like when you've had enough of life, open this envelope, and it shows like this guy in this cubicle in this office, like working for like the equivalent of like an Amazon or something, and it just gets to the point where he pulls this drawer sort of in his desk, and he sees this sealed envelope, and basically Grandad says that he's giving you like this house like way beyond the city, and you go down there and it's all overrun, and there's stones, and there's pools, and you wander out into the town, and you meet the people in the town, and they're very, very like Twin Peaks and quirky stuff. It's quite dark in places, quite weird in others. It's properly good. I think you and Laura would both love playing that on the couch.
Interesting.
Yeah, I 100%.
It's been on my radar for a while, actually.
Don't wait for a sale. Seriously, don't wait for a sale. It's great.
I think we'll get 15 out of the way first. I think.
Uh-huh.
I want the telly back. Know what I mean?
No, I think you both dig it a lot.
Nice. Good choices. Is it my turn?
Ah.
Well, I got 2 as well then.
Okay.
I got a small one and I got a big one. Hui. That's good.
That's our friendship in one little soundbite.
Hui.
Play the music.
Oh, it's so majestic. Okay, so my smaller game that I played that I really enjoyed is basically it's a board game on the telly. It's a game about going to Mars, but it went wrong. The game's called Tharsis.
Okay. Tharsis.
Tharsis.
Whip.
Horrible problem with Tharsis in your leg. What are we talking about? Games. So Tharsis is a game about a failing mission to go to Mars. You're on a deep space probe, and it's all going well, and then a meteor hits the ship, and everything starts breaking, and you have to fix it via the medium of rolling a bunch of dice and putting the dice into the portions of the ship that are broken and moving the crewmates around because they can only put dice into places where they move. It's essentially a board game, but all digitized. And it's hard as balls. Like, it is so difficult because the ship starts falling to pieces very, very quickly, and if you don't deal with stuff, it gets worse and worse and worse, and then the crew eat each other. Well, you choose to make them eat each other, and if you eat each other, then their dice go red for the rest of the game because they are a cannibal. Yeah, it's brilliant, and they kind of splat whenever you roll them as well. It's like, oh.
So that was on PS4?
Yeah, it's on PS4. It's brilliant. Like, it's really, really fun. It's not particularly expensive. I would argue that I put about 4 hours into it, but I wanted to beat it, and I just didn't get time to really dig into the systems. Like, I could get to a point, like with all these kind of survival games, you can get to a point, and then it all kind of starts to fall apart. Like you just can't deal with it any further. Like Spelunky, you get to a point and I just can't handle it. So I would like to dig back into it, but it's really fun. Like any board gamey people, please like give it a go. And that was the Resident Evil noise going off in the background. That's Laura's phone. Please put it on silent. No, shush me. Shush you.
Or silent.
Put it on silent.
Tharsis.
Tharsis, isn't it? So yeah, Tharsis, really good. If you like a board game, buy it. If you like a game that's really hard, buy it. The other game that I wanted to play a bit more of and didn't really, Very Doom.
Okay.
Now we both tried the demo about the same day, didn't we? When it turned up on PS. 'Cause I wasn't that asked about it because I don't really play shooters that much. I wasn't that asked. And then the Doom demo came out, and I think it was you that were like, "Oh, it's a bit good, isn't it?" And I was like, "Well, all right then." And I downloaded it, and then immediately upon finishing it, I also got straight to Twitter going, that's a bit good, isn't it?"
Well, I found that deal that you managed to get and I didn't.
The Magic Sainsbury's £5 Doom deal.
It's bizarre, yeah.
When you buy the game and a PSN...
and ragu and...
a kiwi.
Yeah,
and some pancakes.
Yeah, St. Pancras.
Yeah, but we got there and the Sainsbury band got there and it's like, "I'm really sorry, but we've had to substitute the kiwi for another kiwi." I'm like, "Oh no, where's the game?"
Lord, where's the humanity?
Oh shit.
Well, here we are.
Yaha.
Play the music. Edit, motherfucker.
Boom. So I after being so very sold on the demo, like immediately sold on the demo, I got it and downloaded it installed it straight away. I love that game. I can only play it one level at a time because it is so intense. It is up in your face the whole time. Like when you start playing Doom, it's like, right, go time, be a man, shoot all the things, stamp on the rest of them, pick up the stuff, and use it to shoot the other things.
Talk to me about the soundtrack.
Oh my god!
And all credit to Jeff Keighley for that thing he was doing, the Game Awards. It's like, yeah, we're going to get the guy who just Doom soundtrack to play it live.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody
mate, that
just went,
soundtrack
"Really?"
is just... It's... The song, I think the standout track, BFG Division. Oh, I've done the washing up to that and made a lot of mess.
How much metal?
Well, the suds everywhere.
Yeah.
When it gets the bit with
Just
the
like
high
you
guitar...
playing splashy.
Yeah.
And like the bath, the kitchen's like covered, and Laura just comes in and goes like, "Christ, I married that."
And then you put the song on and it's okay. It's like, oh, okay, fair enough. Like, I can't stop myself headbanging and washing up to the tune. The soundtrack's good. And the game, it plays like the soundtrack sounds. Like, it's up in your goddamn face the whole time. And it's aggressive, but it's got a sense of humour, almost. Like, it's schlocky, but... not in a, like, needlessly gross way. In a, hey, look, it's a big colourful monster! And now his arm's gone! Hey!
It's another one of those for me that it's not you, it's me. Because I love the demo. I really enjoyed it. But somehow, like, now I have the game, there's been other stuff that I've had on instead, and I've just not really given it the time of day. And when I have put it on, it's not gripped me in the same way as the demo has.
You've got to be in the mood, I think.
Yeah.
Like, when I sat down to play an hour or two of it, and it's like, shit, I'm in. And because I like to get everything...
I feel further down the road, it could be one of those where you just stick on and then you just cane it.
Yeah. But like the fact that it lets you see on the map the stuff that you've missed... Like, it's like, well, there's something up there. Like, I'm going to have a look around and explore and try and find it. And stuff you never would have found normally. Like, the map's really clever. And it helps you to explore, because without the map, you're like, there are 3 secrets in this map. You found none of them. Like, but I've been everywhere. I've tried. I went up the thing and I jumped over the hole. And where's the Doom guy? I want to pick up the toys
and fist bump it.
Do the fun animation with the... Like, every time it picks one of those up and it does a different animation, it's like, oh yeah, I like this game. But it's so intense, I can only play it for an hour before I'm tired and need to play something more sedate. And I think that's why I've not finished it yet. I think I'm maybe halfway. I've been to Hell, which I believe is about halfway. And it's really intense. Are you prepping the Crunchbag?
I may have it poised for
Okay.
the final delve.
But it's really, really good. I just want to finish it, and I've got to be in the right mood, and I've got to have a spare hour over the course of a week just to bang through those last levels. So yeah, game I wanted to play more of was Doom. And if my ears doth deceive me,
it's the final Crunchbag.
fucking hell.
The final Crunchbag. Play the music.
Yeah, play music. We've played it 3 times in the last 10 minutes. That's fine.
Best gaming thing, stroke moment. Go.
Right. My best gaming thing that I have done this year. My best gaming thing basically made me feel like I was 10 again. Being all like, ooh, this is cool. My favourite gaming thing of the whole year, my favourite gaming moment or thing, was playing the London Heist on a PlayStation VR headset.
Yeah, go for it.
Right,
Remind
so
us all.
listeners to the show will know we've got a friend, Pete. Pete works for PlayStation. We like to mention this. I like to mention this. It makes us sound important. But we have a lovely friend called Pete, and Pete picked himself up a VR headset over when it came out, the PlayStation one. And he very kindly came down to visit me a couple of weeks afterwards because we had a bit of time off, and he had a bit of time off. I was like, you busy? No? Do you want me to come bring a present? I'm like, ooh, yes, please. So he brought down all the kit that we needed. Luckily, because I am an absolute whore,
Excuse me?
I have the camera, I have Move controllers, I've got everything except the headset, basically. We bought the Move controllers for Resident Evil 5. No shit, and that game's great with those controllers. I will fight you. So we plugged it all in, installed it, and we tried out, I think, what was the first one? The Shark one's what we tried out first. Like, initial impressions of, whoa, this is cool, I can look around and see things, there's a shark, and oh, piss. But it was the London Heist one, which is the one that really, like, sold me on the idea that, like, this is brilliant. So the London Heist is essentially you're playing, like, a really compact, really short, half an hour long version of Snatch. Like a Guy Ritchie gangster film. You start up kind of tied to a chair in a dirty warehouse with a big mug, like a big burly man who looks like his name's Tony or Dave or something. Right up in your face asking you about where's the so-and-so, where's the diamond, where is it? And you're like, I don't know. And if you move your head around, like, he follows you. Very, like, real, like, very up in your face, very intense. And then you get to play on a table with a gun, and you can pick the gun up, and you can then pick up some bullets and put the bullets in the gun, and then you can shoot the gun, all with the Move controllers. And having hands was the best thing, because you can interact with the world around you. Like, I think that's what helped sell me on it, is that you can actually pick things up. Then cue 10 minutes of trying to juggle the gun, throwing it and catching it in different hand and spinning it in the air, which I managed. I did manage. And then as you sort of progress through, so you go to inside a museum, and you're sitting at a desk and trying to break open a desk and solving puzzles by picking things up and moving things around with your hands. And then, oh no, the guards have come. It's a triple alarm. Shoot the guards with the gun. First shot, headshot, one shot, one kill. And I was like, yeah, this is great. The rest of it wasn't that accurate. But my first shot was just, it felt...
You still got that memory?
Mate, it felt incredible. I was like, pow! Ah! And I heard Laura and Pete in the background going, ooh! Because you've got your headphones on, but you can kind of hear a bit of what's going on around. Then you go back to the warehouse, and there's like a brick top like character arguing with Big Tony. There's also a bit where you're sitting in a pub a bit earlier, and there's a cigar and a lighter on the table, and you can light the cigar and hold it up to your face and blow, and the microphone picks up and smoke appears in front of you.
Sweet.
In 3D. And as the brick top character comes down and shows you this list in his hand, if you reach out for it, he'll take it away. Like, he knows you're going for it. It's amazing. And the real, like, the final bit, well, the second final bit anyway, you're in a van driving down the motorway trying to get away with the stuff. And the first minute of that is just you sitting in a van playing with the air vents. Anything with like a red dial on you can fiddle with. So I was playing with the radio, and I was opening the sun visor, looking underneath that, and I was moving the air vents around in the car dashboard, which were moving properly as well, up, down, left and right. I opened the car door, Big Tony was like, shut the door, you twat. I was like, sorry. And closed it back up again, and then the bikers turn up and you have to shoot them with an Uzi. This is where Laura started getting annoyed at me, because the bag of ammo for the Uzi was next to my right leg, which was where Laura was sitting in relation to me. So I'm reaching down for ammo and punching her in the leg every time. But the really cool thing is, because you're in 3D, you're in a VR space, you don't have to look down to get that. I was looking at the bikers, shooting with my right hand, reaching down with my left hand to where I knew the stuff was, gripping, bringing my hand up, and seeing a clip in the hand. It was amazing. And Pete was like, I didn't even know you could do that. That's brilliant. I was like, well, I just thought it was worth a go. It's there, isn't it? Like, we're in VR, I'm in the world. I wondered if it would work, and it did. And it climaxes with the two geezers, the Bricktop and the Tony, having a bit of a fight in front of you, and like they're collapsing all over you. You're like, oh god, this is quite real. What's happening? And it does the classic bit where a gun kind of gets thrown towards you, and the screen goes in slow mo. It's like, time to be a cool guy, catch the gun, and they both stop and look, and you can shoot either one. I tried to shoot myself, didn't work, which was a bit of a shame. But just the whole thing, start to finish, it was about half an hour, I would say. And it so very completely sold me on the concept of VR. Like, it was the freshest thing I've played in maybe ever. Cool. Like, it was so different and so, like, completely weird and out there. And the fact that it's so expensive bums me out, because I don't need one, but I want one.
Is it still on? Is it on the cards?
Not likely at the moment, if we're honest. Not likely. Maybe if a Christmas/birthday comes up and there's no options, maybe we'll talk about it. But I don't think we're going to get one anytime soon, because it's 350 quid, and then the games as well, and the games aren't cheap yet either. I just can't quite afford it as much as I like it, and it bums me out that I'm not going to get to play it again for a while at least, because it was so good. Like, I don't know if I'd have the stamina to last for, a full day's gaming in that thing. Like, we were taking turns sort of switching the headset out. And I think with a lot of the experiences, once you've done them once, you've done them.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of reason to go back to them. But saying that London heist mission, particularly out of everything we played, that one was just, this is what VR can do. It's really polished. It's fun. It gets to the point. It lets you do some cool stuff. Like, it was showing you what the system can do if you get some money behind it. And it makes me really excited for the future, because, you've got games like Resi 7 that are going to be full VR capable. Yeah. And that's brilliant. Like, that's really cool to hear, and I want to hear more about other companies doing VR as well, because this was so good. It's given me a lot of faith in it. And I think you don't get that until you've put your head in one of those machines. I don't think I'd be anywhere... this would be nowhere near my list. Even any of my lists of things that I even care about, if not for the time I got to try it out.
Plus, you were spending that with good people, good friends. Like,
True.
It wasn't just the game itself. It was the bigger picture of the moment, and the laughter, and like the catching up afterwards. And from what you told me, it wasn't. What you mentioned previously, it wasn't just a game, but it was a memory. It was a day. It was good times. And
it was a good day.
That often, sort of factors in. And
yeah, it amazed me how social it was. Like, you're putting on a helmet and hiding from the world, but you're chatting about it because you're taking turns. You're talking about, oh, that was fun, that was good, and they can see what you're doing on the screen as well, so they can see what's going on. And just the fact that switching the controller in and out, taking turns, being the cool guy in the helmet, like. So much more social. Like, as far as you were saying earlier about couch co-op, like, this is a similar thing. Like, you're sitting there with real people, just having a laugh with technology.
If marketed right, it could do kind of a wee thing. You could imagine, like, Grandad putting it on Christmas Day and stuff, and his reaction. But it's as to whether Sony have got the vision to take this on a step, as to whether it's not just going to be a kind of, well, it runs better with PlayStation Pro for the next round of stuff, and if the future games are there, but time will tell. But I'm hopeful, because it's taken a nice stride forward, and I'm interested to see what the next stride is from there. Yeah,
I think it does lack that big hitter. Like, Batman VR was good, but like, Laura tired of that after about half an hour. Like, I don't think it's got that killer app yet. But I don't know, slap Call of Duty or Battlefield on that thing, or Destas, and maybe we'll talk. Who knows? So that was my biggest thing broadly was playing with VR, but specifically was the London Heist on the PlayStation VR World's disc. Was my favourite thing. What was your largest thing?
Getting an Xbox One Elite pad. I traded in a ton of stuff at Game and bought one. No pun intended, but game changer. Love the thing to bits. I mentioned before about kind of the paddles underneath and kind of the X underneath, which is kind of the prongs from left to right are like A, B, and then at the bottom kind of X, Y. And even though it's been marketed as like, oh, you know, it's great for shooters, and you can tighten the triggers for shooters, or you can have them sort of spongier for racing games and stuff, and you can have different profiles set up for different games. And the surprise for me was playing things like Dark Souls 3 and not needing to, like, having a boss battle and not needing to take my my thumbs off the sticks, and just playing like infinitely better with it. And it's such a game changer for me that, I mean, whilst of the two of us, kind of I do lean over the green side of the fence anyway, which brings a little bit of balance to the conversations. But I'd rather it's the reason that I'd rather get a game on Xbox One than PS4, because I just think the pad is incredible. And Final Fantasy 15, you know, all of that's cracking on with like the battle system and stuff, like underneath the pad without taking the thumbs off the sticks. The build quality is incredible. I traded a load of stuff and picked it up, but they were initially 130 quid, I think, when they launched after that E3 in 2015, and they can now be picked up for 100 with a free game, which is
not bad.
Like Halo or Gears of War 4 or like these decent games that are there to kind of make it more affordable. But as far as I'm concerned, it's the greatest gamepad ever made. I am smitten with it, and it's nice. It's nice to see that. Whereas Sony initially said that they weren't going to do anything like that, there's now those officially licensed. There's two Pro controllers for the PS4.
Is there a Logitech or like a Hori one or something?
Yeah, there's a is it a Razer one as well?
Oh, Razer, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen YouTube reviews of one of them, and they've been really complimentary. I'm curious to see how, because there's a different sort of paddle kind of button layout at the bottom, but like I say, it's just it feels like a leap that consoles should have taken. And I know a few people that have that stream on Twitch that have that do shooters that have had those scuff ones, and they've been through a few of them because they're expensive and they break easily. And these, you know, the Elite Pad comes in like a nice little box with loads of different interchangeable, magnetically locking in stick combinations, and in the States they've got like Gears of War versions of like the paddles and sticks that you can buy, and like Halo ones and Forza ones, and it's a really nice piece of kit. It's weighty. It's beautiful to grip because it's done with almost like a rubberized finish, like a light rubberized finish. It's a beautiful pad.
How have you found adapting to those buttons underneath? Because I've in the past I've played with the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller, and it had paddles underneath, like you hold like the handles of the chainsaw. And I always found the paddles where the R1 and R2 to be quite difficult to hit. Like, how have you adapted?
I think initially you have to kind of maybe adjust the way that you hold it a little bit, but it's not really that great a leap. But the paddles, again, at first you're like, well, which one's X and which one's Y, and there is that kind of, because you're so used to reaching for buttons towards the right hand side rather than underneath. There's this point of like, oh, which one is it? Oh, it's that one. Oh, it's that one. And then, like, after a little while, you know where they are. And the Final Fantasy 15 battle system, 100% there with doing that sort of stuff. And it, again, you know, thumbs are on thumbsticks. I don't have to like pull away to press any of the buttons. It's all underneath, and it's great.
You just keep the circle or B button or whatever it is just held down underneath, can't you? And just concentrate on the camera and stuff and movement.
Even
Brilliant.
like, moving the cameras around and doing the jump to the Y point in the battles. It's just, again, it's automatically kind of, I know the finger that kind of reaches for that button and stuff, and it's you're breaking muscle memory that's been built out of games, since you've been playing games. But once you overcome that and you get used to it, it's you have to think a little harder on a regular pad.
Wow,
which is which is the biggest compliment I can give it. And I was talking with my friend Ollie today, and I was saying that people can say what they want about frame rates or resolutions and all that sort of stuff. The thing that makes me want to play a game on a system is actually how much I enjoy the pad, which was the same sort of decision that I had with Dragon's Dogma on PS3, where I was playing on a PS2 pad that was plugged into my PS3. And it's an amazing piece of kit. And I really, if those PS4 controllers are as good as they are, I'll get one of the get something for the PS4 and have like a similar sort of thing, because they do make a difference. But it's a beautiful piece of kit, and to Xbox's credit, they didn't faff about when they were doing it. The build quality is astonishing.
Well, it's brilliant.
Yeah, so too fun fresh.
So our favourite gaming things are
a
controller and a headset. Brilliant.
Yeah. So
play the music.
So we then go into our top 5. So we've got 2 notable exceptions and then top 3s. Would you like to launch into your first notable exception, the game that essentially will be number 5 in your top games?
Yeah. Let me just work this out now. Yeah. Okay. So all right. All right. Let's do this. Yeah. Okay. So my number 5, or my number 2 on number 5. My number 5 game of the year is a game I've not played.
What?
Because fuck you, it's my list. My number 5 game of the year. No. Give me time. My number 5 game of the year is a game that I've watched Laura play. A game I've watched Laura play.
What this game is.
My number 5 game of the year is Dragon Quest Builders.
Can we just say something here?
Say it.
And I think it's one of the greatest things, particularly over on the Sony side of the fence. Well played for fucking demos. Because everybody was looking at this, and I remember when it was first shown, everybody just went, "Oh, they're ripping off Minecraft a bit."
JRPG Minecraft, isn't it?
The fact that they got a demo on store meant that that people could have an opinion on it, and I think a lot of people played that demo, which was weighty. Like you could really sort of get into it and stuff, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is great! I want to buy it." I watched Holly Bennett stream it on Twitch, and who was like incredibly obsessive about having the right floor tiles in the right colour and the buildings matching up, and like a real Laura's
tell me about it
the same way. Yeah, there we go. But it came out of nowhere and kind of in a few ways like out Minecrafted Minecraft.
I could see that. Yeah, no, Laura was the same. She spent 3, maybe 4 hours in the demo. I actually downloaded it to play myself because again,
didn't get near it, did you?
I wouldn't. No, I didn't get near it. I wouldn't have thought about playing. Like, I wouldn't have thought just bought it on the off chance. Like, no matter on the reviews, I don't think I'd have bought it out just because I'm not. I've not played Dragon Quest really. I've got Minecraft. Like, I wouldn't have picked it up. No, in launch anyway. Maybe later on if it got some good buzz behind it. But I wouldn't have picked it up. And downloaded the demo, and I said, "Well, go on, Laura. I'm just going for a bath. You play that, and I'll see how you like when I get out of the bath." So in I go, and I come back half an hour or so later, and she's stuck. So how is it? She's like, "Yeah, oh," that kind of resigned, kind of, "Yeah, it's good."
It's a super time sink, and the thing that stopped me from getting the main game was like, it's a lot of busy work, and I don't know if I want to do that. But in complete admiration,
yeah, a lot of it comes down to how much. Itself. Yeah, how much busy work you're willing to do.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's one of those that if I could listen to podcasts and just twat about with, and but gobsmacked. And the sequel is multiplayer, isn't it?
Yeah, boy. It's over.
it, dog.
I mean, yeah. Like the world's fun. The characters are all really interesting and like funny as well. Like there's a lot of smart writing in it. Like the music's a bit annoying, maybe because it kind of the same two or three songs that repeat forever. But it's just so charming. Like, and the way that the world shift as well. Like there's 4 separate worlds that you play. So you initially start and think, well, this is the world. It's going to just spread out from here. No, you do the first, I think, 3 islands that all connect together. Which are very about, cutting down trees and smelting and, making good iron to do iron stuff with. And that's the focus at the start. And then when you move, you kind of go through a portal and you start from 0. You start with nothing on you. You have to start from nothing again and build yourself back up. And then the second world, it's more about growing, making plants and potions and gardens and things like that. So the focus on what you do in each world shifts and you
That's
learn.
really neat.
Yeah, and
I didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, they allow so you're picking up the same stuff, but you're doing different things with the stuff. And like each sort of set of 4 levels has got its own sort of theme to it, so you're learning a different set of stuff as you go. So by the end, you've picked up many different skills to use. And then there's a free build world you can play with, where you can just play with everything you've unlocked. And again, you start from 0 there, but I like that. I like that you can't just hoard everything on the first 2 maps and then be sorted for the game. Like it forces you to reassess and restart and not just hoard and hoard and hoard and hoard. And in a second place for my favourite moment of the year was Laura's face when she went through the portal to the second world and everything was gone. Oh boy. I knew it was coming and she didn't, and she wasn't happy. She was a little bit. She's giving me the finger right now.
Excuse me.
With
I hope with the courtesy of lube.
I was going to say with a hand then, but but yeah, that game, that's proper good.
Because I do, my only kind of raised eyebrow of it is the same sort of thing that I look at them for with Dragon Quest Heroes, which allegedly is a very good game and is about a tenner now, which makes it very, very affordable. But everybody went, well, why isn't there co-op in it? And then they instantly said, there's going to be in the sequel. And the same sort of thing was said about this one. And I just wonder if they just went, no, we'll kind of give them this for now when we'll do that in the next one. And I just wondered kind of how cynical that is, rather than it's like, oh, we can't quite fit this in.
Well, maybe it was again they're just putting it out to see if it gets any traction. Like,
because I would quite like to play Dragon Quest Heroes. Saw a quite nice review not long ago about that. And
yeah, I've heard it's fun. I've looked at it. I was looking at maybe getting it for Laura for Christmas, but I couldn't find a decent price knocking around anyway. Give it time.
I will find it.
Nice.
I will find you that decent price, because I've seen it. It's your game for $12.99 new.
Reasonable. That's not actually that bad.
In it, fam.
What's your honourable mention / number 5?
Dark Souls 3.
Oh!
So
We're
this
doing
is
it.
This is going to sound very much like what you said with your biggest disappointment. So I enjoyed playing Dark Souls 3. The bosses were fantastic. And of the two of us, I was the most positive at the time about the game.
You were.
And in the aftermath, I've kind of sunk. The lore is not only bad, but has broken the main timeline in many ways. They threw away a lot of the improvements Dark Souls 2 brought with it, battered a few characters into the background. Like
Solaire is either soup or a worm.
No, I mean, like, Laddersmith Gilligan was just fucking dead near a ladder. Cheers, mate.
Well, that is where you'd expect him to die, I mean.
Cunty move.
Just stuck in a hole somewhere. Yeah. Why is he there?
And that sort of thing seems half-assed, distasteful. Even stuff that we've spoken about before, it's like, well, life gems were good.
Life gems were good.
There's a lot of stuff that Dark Souls 2, looking back, you go, right, you really thought out of the box to do something really different with that. It's still a little bit familiar, but you've done things really different, and you've not lent into the fan service. You've kind of done a nudge and a wink here and there, but it's more like this is a tale that's told through time, and you know that's a little bit wrong, but you can tell that maybe like the whispers that have gone on from people and groups and have brought things forward have twisted that, and you can kind of raise a little wry smile because you go, well, I know that's not particularly true. And they did this, Dark Souls 2 did this stuff with the brilliant NG Plus, which just again it seems so curated and so considered. You've got the original souls for the second time that you're fighting the bosses, and it just felt like they went right. So we're going to do a new game, and it was almost like a Final Fantasy kind of take. Like the world has been remade; it's completely different, but there are a few things that kind of adhere, and this heavy-handed fancy. It seems like somebody didn't want to do it. Either that, or just got sick of seeing Praise the Sun and just thought, right, fuck your boy into the bin.
Yeah.
The moment that kind of crashed me was the DLC, which was it's just there. It's Dark Souls.
It's all right to play, isn't it? But then it's just
it's Dark Souls on autopilot. I have no desire to go back to it. And you're giving Ulasil 3 crowns and apparently Old Hunters. Well, everybody was like, "There's not been a DLC for a Dark Souls game that's been anything but exceptional." Yeah. Hello, Ashes.
Well, that was true, wasn't it? For so long, they were doing so well, and then I will say on the DLC. That last boss fight, the 3-part one, I liked that. I did like that. I played it, but I wouldn't play the whole thing again to get there.
I played the whole thing once for a really long stretch, and I'm pretty much near that boss fight. I have no desire to put it back on, and if anything, it's left me cold about the entire series. I've stopped watching lore videos. I can't bear any of the memes. There was like a Twitter thing that went on recently with people slagging off like Dark Souls 2, and I just thought I'm just gonna switch my phone off and throw it in the corner. I can't be arsed with this, and yet I feel I'm being really hard on Dark Souls 3 with that regard, because I had a lot of fun with it. The boss fights were amazing, but
the boss fights are the high point. Like the Twin Princes, like particularly, that's a good boss fight. The Abyss Watchers, great idea.
Yeah, I mean, if in many ways, like Dark Souls 2, some of the bosses were the weakest part of those games, absolutely. But this seems like as much fun as I had with it. I've got kind of concerns on the other side of it, and I don't know. I'm in a strange place to be, and I did enjoy my time. I took ages to finish it. I took a lot longer than everybody else to finish it. And, in the same way as I played through Demon Souls and the original Dark Souls, I wasn't really looking too hard at the story at that point. I was just enjoying the levels and the bosses and the design and all of that stuff. And it led me to Bloodborne, which is a great thing. But
if Dark Souls 3 has done one thing for me, I would say that it's made me appreciate Bloodborne more.
Yeah, I mean,
and Dark Souls 2.
The last Dark Souls thing I will say is that all of my favourite Dark Souls streamers started playing bloody Overwatch.
Team Fortress 2 with waifus.
That's not really that tied in. I just needed to say it on the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed the balls off Dark Souls 3, but it's left me in a place where I'm very, very cold.
Yeah.
Now.
I'm the same. I played it, I enjoyed my time, and then as soon as I finished it, I can't.
Like I say, the DLC was the super crash for me.
Yeah.
Super crash.
Well, the second one's coming very soon, isn't it? Which I'm gonna play. Krusty might be coming.
I've bought it. I've bought it twice, like a twat. But yeah, there's all of the Dark Souls DLC is amazing. It's when it's from ever let us down. But like I say, at the same time, I feel like I'm being harsh with it because I had a lot of fun, but there are kind of attachments to that now. So yeah, sort of divided, I guess. A little bit. But still, I sunk a lot of time into it, and I did enjoy playing it. So yeah,
I've enjoyed it going back with co-op more than I've enjoyed it on my own. Definitely, like I've enjoyed when we've played with Kylie and with the Gabs.
Oh yeah, well,
it's been fun.
That's something that deserves saying because Gadget Girl Kylie got into Dark Souls from Dark Souls 3, then went back to like Dark Souls 2 and stuff, and it was great to see somebody who thought a game wasn't for them, like properly love it and nerd out about it and just fall in love with the world and all of those aspects that we have. It's lovely to see. So that's always been one of the fun parts of seeing people play Souls for the first time on Twitch, because just seeing it click with people. So that was lovely, and I think a lot of that girl. So
yeah,
that's what.
Okay, number 5's done then. What's the next number?
Number Fizzle. Also,
that would also be 5 for me.
Yeah, also the second of a notable exception. So number 4.
Number 4, notable exception 1. Number 4. Ugh. Okay, so I play quite a few. Let's call them short form walking simulators this year. I played Gone Home. I played Everybody's Gone to the Rapture as well. Varying opinions on those games. Not all of them good. But my favourite short form walking around game I played this year.
Your number 4?
My number 4 is a little game called Firewatch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Which is now sold 1 million copies.
Yes, well, it deserves it because it's brilliant. So basically, Firewatch is a story about a very normal man.
From Mad Men.
Yeah. I didn't make that right. Is he?
Yeah, he's one of the actors from Mad Men. I think.
Didn't know that. Anyway, he's a normal man, and the game starts by telling you about him and his wife that he meets, and tells you about their story, and then sort of tells you about how her health starts to deteriorate, and how he eventually decides to, after she's being looked after, he decides to go and be a Firewatch guy.
Firewatch.
I don't know what the official word is. To be a fire warden in a forest for a summer, to keep his eye out and report on fires if he sees them. Just to sit in a tower by himself and look for some fire. Like that's going to be his job, because he needs to get away almost. He's looking for an escape. And he's just a normal, bit overweight, scruffy. He's just a bloke. Just a normal man. He's not a hero per se. He's just a guy, who makes mistakes and gets things wrong. And he starts striking up a relationship with the person on the end of the walkie-talkie, and you sort of see their relationship start to sort of bloom, and you sort of see a bit of his guilt almost coming in that he's connecting with someone that's not his wife. But you never meet this person. Like she's always on the other end of the phone, almost. There's mysteries that unfold as you play around. Now, I will say that it builds up really well, and then the final hour, I would say, doesn't quite hit. I don't think.
I heard that from the mighty John Denton.
Yeah, it doesn't quite hit, but I can forgive it that because the build-up was so good. And, sometimes stories don't need to have a big conclusion. Sometimes they just finish.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is no finality. It's what you take away with it, what you think about how the story finished there.
Sometimes a story like sits in your head, in your mind, and kind of grows afterwards. And in the immediate, you might be like disappointed, but in the whole, you kind of accept it for the whole thing for what it is.
Yeah. A lot of the mystery part, you start finding traces of other people that have been in the forest before you. It's not mysterious per se. People can go there. But you start picking up traces of people and, finding people that had, lived there for a short time almost. One of the best things you can do is you find a camera at one point, like a point and shoot, windy camera. You can take photos. You've got 20 photos left on this camera, so you can take photos during the game. Whenever you want, just pull the camera out and take a shot. And then when it plays the credits at the end, it will play your photos
that's
back.
Classy.
But so it goes through the ones you've taken, and then you see the pictures from the person whose camera it was before.
That's really cool.
Powerful. Like, it's a real moment at the end. You're like, oh my god, oh no, I get it. It's proper. Like, it's got a real emotional core. Like, it's got heart. And cynical people myself included, initially thought it's just a walking around game, isn't it? It's one of those walking around games where you walk around and see emotions. But like the design of the world, like it is designed by Ollie Moss with his artwork in hand, and it looks like one of his paintings. It looks like one of his pieces of art. It is beautiful, and the world feels alive. It feels lush. You really feel like you're hiking around in the woods. And I know there's a load of stuff I've missed. Like I've seen things online, like there's a turtle you can pick up, and I was like, there was a turtle? When was there a turtle? But it really, while it may end on a fizzle, it stays with you. And I think that says a lot. More than any other story-based walking around game. I know that sounds reductive, but like more than any other short-form game I've played this year, it stayed with me. And I played it months and months and months ago, so the fact it stays so long is really impressive. So, yeah, that's my number 4. Firewatch. What is your number 4?
My number 4 is the
honourable
only
mentioned
game...
number 1.
Yeah, so my honourable mention number 1, 4th game of the year, is the only game this year I've bought twice.
Dark Souls 3?
Oh, no. It's the second only game that I bought twice. And
we were just talking about that.
Yeah, I know. What a twat. And that's The Division.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I picked it up on Xbox One, soloed it, enjoyed the atmosphere, the loneliness. It was a game I'd kind of relaxed into when I got home from work. Had huge amounts of fun with it. It felt really cinematic, and the missions were just brilliant fun. Reminded me a little bit of kind of classic Batman with like the different factions in New York, and it became a little more scary with a lot of the stuff that's happening in the world at the moment with regards to the politics and the whispers sort of underneath it all.
Yeah.
New York was such a huge character in it. And there was some missions where I got really, really affected as well. Like going under New York and just finding the place where all the bodies had been piled. And you're like, fucking hell. But there's some really good, like typically Ubisoft storytelling within the environment, which I always really enjoy. Bought it again on PS4 to co-op with a friend and found a different feel entirely. Not chatty like Odesta's catch-up shooty bang stuff, but calling out tactics during big missions, evolving into like a near psychic connection with my friend Nor, her being all rushing and bowling bombs while I'm predictably like sniping and chucking down turrets.
You've replaced me, haven't you?
Yeah, I did. Well, it was that, and I would. It's a game I genuinely would still love to play with you. Because it's like £12 now, and I think there's still a lot that you could get out of it, particularly at that price.
I don't know, man.
Because
I think I got everything I wanted out of it in the beta.
Nah, I
really do.
I think you're wrong, especially at £12. Yeah. I promise you, there's stuff in those big missions which, knowing how much fun we had with some of the big Desta stuff together, that I know you'd absolutely milk the fuck out of. It's great, but I know it's a really divisive game, and it's one that you've been looking forward to forever, and then weren't asked with it, and then I wasn't asked with it. Played the beta and was just like, oh, I really like this. But I've experienced it in 2 capacities now, with the solo experience and the co-op stuff. So yeah, I really enjoyed The Division. I think it took possibly too long to sort of super balance itself, which is what they've redone recently. I've not gone for the Dark Zone stuff just because that's not really my bag.
I tried it in the beta and no.
But yeah, I put time into it. I enjoyed the atmosphere. The gunplay was just wonderful to do. Like I say, some of the missions were just fucking baller. Loved it to pieces. So yeah,
that's really surprising, but interesting to hear.
Wait till you see what's coming up, mate.
Oh boy.
What? Play the music.
118.
Right, so this is the big three. This is Twin Humanities top three.
Twin Humanities presents So the Humanities presents the top three.
From Paddy and from me. Oh, hype!
The music's already playing, so I'm not going to play it again.
Yeah. Go on, play it again.
Play it again, just from the start.
Right then. Right, so top three. Do you want to start?
I will start.
Do it. Start now.
My number 3, my bronze of 2016.
Use the speak words.
What?
I don't know.
My
Go on, number 3.
My bronzo for 2016 is a puzzle game. My number 3 is The Witness.
Cool. Talk to me about number 3.
Right, so when The Witness came out, like 6 months ago, it came out for about 30 quid. And I was one of those horrible people who were like, 30 quid for a puzzle game? Nah, mate. Nah, mate. Nah. So I decided not to buy it on the point. I thought, it looks nice, but I'll get it when it's cheap.
This is almost like the anti-No Man's Sky in this regard, isn't it?
Isn't it? Like, I was just like, nah, mate, doesn't look like it. I mean, it looks fun, but I'll get it later. It looks like I'll play it later. I don't know. I think it was a sale in November at some point, and it went to about 15 quid. And I remember all my Twitter friends talking a lot about it. Jeremy Greer, particularly. I remember chatting about it quite a lot. And it's just like, oh, well, if Jeremy likes it, he's got, terrible taste, but, it might be good. Sorry, Jeremy, I love you. And I thought, you know what, 15 quid. Like I said, if it goes to about 15, 20 quid, I'll get it. I thought, I'm going to stand by my word. I'm going to buy it. I'll buy it. And I installed it pretty much straight away and booted it up. And initially, as I booted it up, it says, do you want to put HDR on? Because I got my new telly at this point.
Yes.
And it's like, do you want to put HDR on? And I'm like, well, I've not had that come up for anything before. Like, yeah, go on then. Oh my God. HDR is the best. High dynamic range rendering or something, I don't know. It makes the brights look brighter and the darks look darker, and it can all exist on the screen at the same time.
Because there's a weird thing with the visuals with this that isn't the PS4 version 1080p and 30 frames per second, and the Xbox One version is 720p and 60 frames per second, or the other way around, or I don't know. Just seems like a strange flick flack.
I really,
in that regard. I don't get hung up on that stuff, but
you're right, Digital Foundry, calm down.
In this kind of game, I was surprised that there were variants like that.
I honestly, anyway. I don't think I never noticed the frame rate or the thing at any point. So I was just too taken in by the colours. It's just so pretty. If you've got a telly that can do HDR, for God's sake, turn it on. It's super cool. So good. And every game since we've turned it on. Laura's playing Final Fantasy 15 with the HDR on, and
it doesn't affect it.
It's lovely.
It doesn't affect like the controls or the input lag.
It just
or
looks
anything
prettier
like
because the telly can deal with it, so it outputs the colour nicer. That's all it is. It just makes it look sharper and brighter.
When I had a chat with Ollie today, he was saying that the HDR on Deus Ex Mankind Divided is astonishing. Like within the darkness of the world, the bloom of the lights within that. He said it's the prettiest thing I've seen on his telly. So
I'd agree. The Witness is one of the loveliest things I've seen. Like I took screenshots with it on and off as well to see the difference, and it's night and day. Like legitimately, like the same shot with the HDR on and off. It is stunning how different it looks, and you don't realise it until you've. It's like the jump from DVD to Blu-ray. You're like, oh, hello. And you only appreciate it when you sort of play one side by side and think, actually, that's so much better, isn't it? You start to notice it. But enough about how it looks. Let's talk about how it plays.
Tell me.
So, The Witness is a game about solving puzzles on tiles where you draw a line on a grid.
Did you have Notebook? Did you have your phone out? Were you taking pictures?
One of my notes for this game is The Notebook, that film. I took my fancy Bloodborne notebook and I was making pictures as and when I needed to, which wasn't as much as you'd think, actually. The game does a really, really good job of explaining its rules. So initially you're like, start point, end point, draw a line from one to the other. Easy. And then it starts to throw rules in, like, okay, well now you've got black spaces and white spaces and they've got to be separate. Like, well, okay, I can deal with that. And then it starts making them a bit more complicated. And then there's dots on the line, and you work out you've got to make your line go over those dots. if that's not making sense, I apologise. But you've got points you've got to hit on the grid before you can go to the end, and then you kind of get those mixed up together where you've got to solve a big puzzle with moving the black and white apart and going through these lines on the grid. And it ramps up slowly, but it never needs to tell you anything verbally. Like,
cool.
The puzzles are learned by doing them, and it always sets up, when it's learning time, because you'll see 5 or 6 puzzles literally lined up next to each other that will turn on as you do the one next to it. So you'll do one and right, okay, I get that, and then it'll expand it a little bit, and you sort of experiment to see what's different, and then you'll experiment again, and then the mechanics really start to make sense as you progress. There's only one instance where this doesn't work, which is the 3-pointed triangle-y one, which I completely didn't understand the mechanic of, and thus I got stuck on one puzzle for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Screaming at my telly, what the fuck do you want from me? I put it on Twitter, I let Laura have a go, she just drew a dick on the page with the line. I was going insane. It's one of the only things, I think I've looked up 2 things in the entire game, and one of the only things I had to look up was, how the fuck does this kind of thing work? I didn't look up the solution, I've not looked up a single solution to a single puzzle. But I did have to look up just how this mechanic worked, because I just wasn't getting it. I just wasn't getting it. And after an hour, I was going insane. I was like, I need to finish this, or I'm not going to be able to sleep.
Do you think you ever would have gotten it at that point?
Or maybe.
Was it one of those
but not soon. It was definitely an, that's what it means.
Yeah.
Oh, it means it takes away one thing of this. Oh, I just had it the wrong way around in my head. Like, I just didn't. Something's really obvious and you just can't see it. It was that, and I was going back over the older puzzles going, well, that works, so why doesn't this work?
What do you think about the design of the world? Do you think that Jonathan Blow is a genius?
Yes, I do now.
Do you think he's cleverer than you, but he's actually made a game that makes you feel really clever by the fact that he's not underestimated you?
I've actually written down that the game makes me feel clever. That was on my notes as well.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cribbing your notes from a distance.
Stop looking.
All right,
Not looking over my shoulder in the cupboard. So the world itself as well. So you find these panels everywhere, and there's different rules for each one, and a lot of it's environmental as well. So you'll look at a panel, and it's like, right, here's an empty grid with a start and an end, and you move your line across. It's like, nah, it didn't work. You're like, well, why didn't that fucking work? You try it a different way, it doesn't work either. Like, what? And then you stand back and you look around, and you sort of see something in the environment and think, hang on, that looks a bit like, if I look at that from, I get it. And it encourages you to look outside of the world. Like, you need to look around the puzzles for clues. There was one incredibly simple puzzle in the desert, and those that have played it will know what I'm talking about when I say it's the desert with the hexagon puzzles in it. Really, really early in the game, you can go there like straight away almost. And there was this sort of, it looked like a captain's wheel, this pattern. And I just couldn't get it. I looked at it and I didn't understand it, and I was trying everything I could, and I couldn't see a single clue. And I was going spare because there were panels everywhere that were off that wouldn't turn on until I'd done this one. I was losing my mind, and then I came back maybe 10 hours later after solving some of the rest of the game. You can do it in any order you want, which is really nice. You haven't got to get stuck on a single puzzle. You can kind of go off and do it whenever you feel like. And I looked at the puzzle from a different angle, and I felt so stupid. I'd say that's pretty overstatement. Like, it was like sudden daylight, the bulb wake up in my head. It's like, oh.
Was it like HDR had been switched on?
It was suddenly, the HDR had been turned on, and I could see what it wanted from me. Finally, the colours were all melting. I saw it, and I was like, are you fucking shitting me?
Jonathan Blow is asking you at the start of his game if you want HDR switched on your telly, and then throughout the game, he's switching HDR on in your head.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's literally the game, because you can explore whenever you want, and you find audio logs from people as well, and there's no people in the game.
There's the BBC ones as well, isn't there?
Yep,
which is really cool.
A basement of films, which is, I don't understand. Like, I don't know what the game's trying to tell me. Like, there's definitely a message in there somewhere about probably religion or people. I'm not smart enough to work that out, but I am smart enough to work out the puzzles, the line puzzles, and that alone made me feel so clever. And there's puzzles in this game that are so... I don't know how you design puzzles like that. I don't know how you do it. Because
I had that sort of thing with... I rented Titanfall 2 for a little while and didn't get to finish it, unfortunately. But there were certain levels where one level in particular I played where I was just like, I don't know how you design this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's exactly the same. Me and Laura sat there with this series of 6 puzzles. It was in the end game.
I like that you couch co-op in this. That's really cool.
It is such a co-op game. Yeah, she wasn't there for all of it. She was there for about half of it. But like, it is a co-op game, and we had the notebook out. We were trying different things out.
That's really cool.
I have like 2 pages of notes on this one series, like this one puzzle series of like 6 or 7 panels together. And those of you who are listening, it's the ones in the final area that work together. You solve one, you're like, oh, I get it, and then you solve the next one, and it's like, hang on, something's changed. And then you solve the third one, and it's like, hang on, this just got way more complicated. What the hell? So by the 6th one, you're basically solving 6 puzzles at once on the same grid. It is insane. I don't know how you design it, but when we got it, when we figured it out after like countless drawings on this notebook, like countless drawing out each puzzle and trying to work out how each one affected the other one. When we got it, I got up from the sofa and I clapped. And
that's a lovely feeling.
I felt so clever. Like, in a way that some puzzle games you look at and think, I'm not going to get this. Like, this is just abstract. Like, it gives you all the tools you need. It gives them to you and says, look, here's how it all works. Just work it out. And yeah, like, proper, like, again, that's a top moment of the year. It was that particular puzzle. There's another one as well, which is 3 separate puzzles on one grid that have to be solved independently. But there are 2 statues stood on the grid. And the way that it works is, whatever angle you look at it from, whatever bits of the grid those statues are blocking off, you can't use. So if a statue's like, it's stood in the middle, so if you're looking at it from the front and it's, you know, covering up the back 6 or 7 grid spaces, you can't use them to solve your puzzle. You've got to go around them. And like, even saying that is selling it short. I spent, again, probably half an hour, 40 minutes, just solving these 3 puzzles on this one grid by walking around this map, this one puzzle, going, if I stand here, can I go there? That doesn't work. No, okay, let's try it from over there. Like, getting one puzzle to work like that is clever. Doing 3 on the same grid, I don't know how you do it. And I'm holding my head in my hands because I still don't know. It's incredible. I just haven't played anything that clever in ever. And I've basically solved the puzzle. But once you've done, like, you think it's just line puzzles. It's not. There's more, because halfway through, I looked down from a vantage point and I saw something. And then I started looking at the entire world in a different way. And there's puzzles there you can't see unless you're looking for them. You don't even know. It's layer upon layer upon layer, and you're then looking at shadows, and you're looking around corners, and you're trying to line bits of scenery up because you've seen something like, hang on, if that's there, and if I can just make that so it's lined up, then I found a puzzle. Like, almost like Professor Layton does. He sees puzzles in everything. This is how you start to see the world, in terms of squiggly lines. And it's just so fucking clever. It's so clever. So that's my number 3 best game of the year. The Witness makes me feel like a smart boy.
Because you are. I believe in you.
Oh, thanks. Complimento. What is your Bronzo Thirdo Game of the Year?
Okay, number 3 in the mighty top 3. Sometimes series come along which seem impenetrable. Stuff you continue to chip away at with each new incarnation, but for whatever reason, it's not you, it's me. Like Zelda. But sometimes something comes along in that regard and plain steals you away. Which is why my 3rd favourite game of 2016 was both of those. Oceanhorn, Monster of Uncharted Seas.
Play the music? Yeah. Please explain, because I am sitting here with a face on.
I'll get used to that. So this is on. So I saw this initially on the Xbox Store and kind of saw a few like screenshots and stuff and just presumed it maybe wasn't much co-op. And then I saw it on a stream with Holly Bennett and was just like, oh my god. The stream just sorted that right out. It's an absolute belter. it's also Zelda on PS4, Xbox, and PC. Think Wind Waker meets Link to the Past, but isometric. You're around as a little lad trying to uncover the legend of your father. You set out to destroy a kind of mechanical octopus called Oceanhorn. Your dad is actually voiced by the same guy that voices Noctis in Final Fantasy.
Okay,
which is kind of cool. So you go through a number of islands. You solve puzzles, gain new abilities like bombs, arrows, etc. And you sail between each one. There are different things that kind of you can get from one, which unlock the other, and those new groovies can kind of affect areas that you've not gotten into or beyond. There's no, you should head to this place, now you have this. You're just left to explore and re-explore, as you might when you just had that one game for Christmas when you were a kid, and you just kept playing it. And as such, it can be frustrating, but you often come upon a bit and go, oh, fuck! And suddenly you're a bit further and you're in somewhere new and you're like, oh my god! So this was a big hit on mobile, apparently, and they decided to move it to consoles and computers. And you know what was the first thing they did?
Go for it.
Oh, let's commission bloody Nobuo Uematsu to do the soundtrack.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, and let's get Saga and Mana's Kenji Ito to do the soundtrack as well. Seriously?
What?
Yes. I mean, I don't know much Zelda. I've kind of monkeyed about with a few of them. They've never really clicked with me massively. But it puts me in mind of how much I absolutely loved Alundra on PS1, which essentially was PS1 Zelda in itself.
I played that last year, and I found it to be fun, if a little bit tricky.
Game it's relaxing, it's lovely. If folks enjoy Dragon Quest Builders, I think they might have a lot of fun here. It's just over a tenner, and it's essentially like Zelda on PS4, Xbox One, and it's going to be on Vita next year as well. It's also now sold 1 million copies.
What?
Which is incredible. Which also
I've not
means
even heard of it.
Which also means that Oceanhorn 2: Knights of the Lost Realm is in development. It's absolutely stunning. It's a beautiful game. It's Uematsu's doing the soundtrack. It looks lovely. There's loads of character. It's literally it doesn't send you anywhere. It wants you to figure out all of that shit. And it almost strangely in the same way as you were talking about The Witness. There are revelatory moments within that, but it's Zelda on PS4 and Xbox One, but not in a kind of like, oh, let's completely crib this, because you've got your isometric stuff, and there's a little, you can see a little bit of Wind Waker and kind of quite a lot of Link to the Past, but it's its own animal as well, and it's great. And I just love the fact that this is clearly a love letter to Zelda from the Corn Fox brothers. And the fact that it's sold 1 million copies, I think, is amazing.
That is brilliant.
And also having that ambition to take it up a notch and just go, you know what? We should have a word with that lad who does the Final Fantasy soundtracks, because that's just crazy. And they did it.
I'm looking at pictures of it now. You may have heard me search there, and that looks.
No, I didn't.
That's going to kill me.
You will love it. You will absolutely love. Laura will fall over herself.
Don't say it out loud.
I've been dying to talk to you about this, but I knew that at a certain point that it was going to be in my top 3 of the year, and I kind of looking forward to that. What? Who? What?
Important question. Is it on Vita?
It's going to be soon. They've had on.
Okay.
It's up and running on Vita. They've not launched it yet,
But it's coming.
My recommendation is, I paid full whack for it. It's only like £12, but on the big telly, it just looks magnificent.
God, that looks really nice.
In the same ways we were talking about Dragon Quest Builders on the telly versus the Vita, and Laura just going like, "Nah, I'm not playing it on Vita," because the way it looks on the telly, it looks stunning. It looks absolutely stunning, and there's so many nice touches in there which are very, very much its own. It sold 1 million copies. But they even before that, they had the ambition to approach the guy that does the soundtracks for Final Fantasy.
That's mental.
It's a beaut, and I'm
it
glad
looks great.
I'm glad you've done that search because it's way up your street.
Christ.
Also, I think the part of you that loves Spelunky, fall over yourself for this. Absolutely fall over yourself for it.
Man. Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah,
Sold.
I think you should be. Because especially
Sold.
knowing as well how the way that you just talked about the Witness, but also the way that you talked about Spelunky, but also with you chipping away at Zelda anyway, I just think this is just a shoo-in for you.
Straight line there, isn't there?
Plus, it's nice to... This isn't one that I could wait for in a sale, or would want to be honest. I want the full whack to go to these guys because they've created something that's just beautiful and it deserves to sell.
God, that's glorious.
Thank you, man. I'm really glad you made up about that.
Man.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
Look how lovely it looks. And if you bring up one of the trailers as well, the way that it moves and...
You only get surprises like this on our Game of the Year show. You won't get this anywhere else, anyone.
No.
Oh, my Game of the Year is Uncharted 4. Good. Go away.
What you got for number 2 then, my friend?
Right. This is amazing. I'm really happy how this has worked. So my number 2 is a game I played this year, funnily enough, that didn't come out in this year, and I was considering putting it on my game from a different year list, but I thought, know what? No, it's too important. I can't just bump it on there. It goes on here. My number 2 is Link to the Past, motherfucker.
Ooh.
Play that music.
Oh my god.
Play that music.
You realise what you've done?
Segue.
You know, you've not only broken the podcast, but you've also tied into the previous game.
Isn't that good?
And which also tied into your previous game.
Am I not? This has gone really well.
This has gone very
Isn't
well.
this great? It looks like Ocean One just looked like a 3D version of this. That's brilliant. So yeah, Link to the Past. So it's the biggest surprise on my list. And when I was putting this list together, I initially forgot about it. Actually, I broke the games down that I liked, and it's quite low on the list of things that I remember from this year because I just looked at the PS4. You know, where did I play games this year? I played them on the PS4, and I just went through the list over there. And then I sort of sat and thought about it. What else have I played this year? And really had to dig in and think, oh yeah, Link to the Past, of course. And I put it down, and as I was putting the top 5 or 7 at that point together, like it was, I couldn't get it away from the top 3. Like nothing was beating it.
Have you hacked our podcast?
I have hacked it. It is a Nintendo show now. I have changed. Okay, so those of you that know, I've been playing a few of the Zeldas this year. I've been trying to play them in order. I'm on Ocarina of Time at the moment, but I've only put an hour or 2 in at the moment, and I'm kind of stalled on that because Laura's enjoying the telly. So I'll come back to that another time. There's no rush. I've played through the first 4 so far, being Zelda 2, Link to the Past, and Link's Awakening. And while the first 2 were difficult, I was initially worried I was going to bounce off the series. I was like, well, these are okay, but I get why people like these, but it's not doing a lot for me. Link to the Past, everything changed. It's just lovely. It's just a lovely game. There's no word I can use more than lovely. It's lovely.
Did you approach it with a little bit of trepidation? Knowing
Yeah.
How highly regarded it's thought of?
It always comes up.
It's always a lovely thing where you kind of go, yeah, I really see that.
You ask people favourite Zelda, and you'll tend to get 3 answers, which will be Ocarina, Wind Waker, or this. Those are the 3 answers I think you get, mostly. And it's like this is the first really important one I think that I'd played out of the series. I mean, the first 2 have their place, sure, but this is the first one where I think they really nailed down what Zelda was gonna be. In terms of the variety of the stuff you get and the way it played. God, it just immediately from the outset, it's brilliant. Everything's so, to look at it, everything's like a cartoon. Like, the sprite design is amazing. Like, the world is full of colour. It's full of personality. The animations, everything bounces and flops and just, the world feels alive. It's not just a flat land. Like, you're running around in a world, and when you look at your world map with that sweet mode 7 moving around there in sort of pseudo 3D, and you can tell where you've been and where you've not been just by because the map's so good. You know, you can chart your course to somewhere just by going, right, I'm at the mountain there, I need to go around that lake and through there, and then I can get to the top. Okay, and you can do it. Other Zeldas I played, I played Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, and admittedly that does suffer a bit because it's on a Game Boy, but I found that map really hard to understand. Like, I couldn't gel with that very well. This is just perfect. Link's got pink hair, not sure why. Moving on. It's the first thing I noticed on the map. I was like, why has he got pink hair? Okay.
Where's the lore behind this?
Yeah, explain to me. Where's the book that tells me why he's got pink hair? Give me the item description on the bottle that tells me why his hair's pink. So,
where's the Australian man to tell me the reason behind this?
prepare to die. With the hair dye? No?
No, all right then.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't see the words because you were speaking.
I'm doing a wordplay. So, this would all be for nothing. The look of it would all be for nothing if it didn't play just so goddamn good. Like, that is 2D sprite movement. Just, it's perfect. Link's sword feels... It's got a heft, it's got a swing, whereas before it was a poke. This now has a swing, so you can move around and you can chop and you can spin attack at people. You know, to really give you some tactical options in the fight as you pick up bombs and arrows and hook shots and magic wands, and like every bit of kit you pick up is useful and has more than one use and can be equipped all the time and used when you're just running around. Like the hook shot you can use to bump enemies over and not past them. You can throw the incredible boomerang from half the screen away and take out things, you know, that you'd never even touch. Things like the bombs, you know, you get so many of them, you're encouraged to play around with them and drop them places and sort of experiment and see if you can find secrets in the maps. You know, the gear you pick up as well, you get it in such a nice order. You learn how to use it in the dungeon that you pick it up in. Like, you'll find the power glove where you can pick things up, and you will find, okay, well, there's only one way out of this room, and it's that block. What happens if I go up there with this thing? Oh, I pick it up. Brilliant. Right, moving on. And it's just so well designed to a T. Like, it's... I always say, like, for me, like, I had never played Zeldas before this year, and my closest thing to a Zelda that I probably really loved was something like a Soul Reaver. You know?
Okay.
With that...
This is really weird, because we're both like, I never really clicked with Zelda.
Yeah.
But I liked this one.
Yeah. Like, Soul Reaver was probably the closest thing I played that would line up with what a Zelda... Maybe Darksiders, I would say, to line up with what a Zelda is. You run around, you get stuff, you use that stuff to go back and do other things in there. Like, it's the sort of similar formula. Don't rake me over the coals on that one. But after playing this, like, I get it. Like, I get where all this design has come from. I understand why these games are built like that now, because Link to the Past got it just so goddamn right. It rarely missteps. The boss fights are brilliant. Like, they encourage you to use the thing you just picked up to test you. Like, can you use this thing? You can use this thing? Good. You can leave now. Maybe missteps a bit towards the end when you need to use a magic spell to find a temple that I hadn't found the magic spell and I was going insane.
Oh, man.
I mean, I looked a few things up because I think back in the day you would have had your strategy guides, you would have talked to your friends in the playground. I asked a few people for some tips, actually, some sort of spoiler-free tips, and I was pointing in the direction of a couple of things. I think it was Dave Klein, actually, pointing me in the direction of a couple of boomerangs and stuff.
Ah, I love that boy.
Yeah, I'm sure it was him. And I had to look one or two things up because I was getting a bit hammered. I was like, right, I need to find a few heart pieces because I just think my health could be a bit better. So I looked a few things up, and nothing that would spoil the game. Just, you know, where's the next power up going to be? You know, I want to make sure I've got stuff before I move on too much. So I looked at the guide a little bit, but nowhere near what it took for me to get through Zelda and Zelda 2 because those games are impossible. I don't know how you'd ever work those out. The only thing I think I probably wouldn't have worked out myself in due course was just this magic spell that I just didn't. I'd never seen, I didn't know where to find it, and it was a bit of a roundabout way to get to it, and when I got it, I was like, oh, it's up here, oh, okay. So I don't feel too bad about that, because back in the day, you just asked your friends in the playground or looked in Nintendo Power.
Or you just kept playing it and playing it and playing it, because that's maybe the only game you got.
True.
That's the way that people uncovered stuff. It was either tips in magazines, friends in playgrounds, or you just found out about it and became the person that told people about it in the playground. And
unfortunately, I think these days I don't have that kind of time to give to that sort of search anymore. But I don't feel like I missed anything out by asking friends for help, because I think that's part of it. You know, I'm trying to find secrets and they go, oh, well, try over here. Like, oh, okay. And it was never like directly go over here, press that, go under there. Like, it was always just try under this bridge. Just go find a bridge and see if you can get underneath. See what you can find. I was like, oh, okay. And there was always something to find. Like, there's not a lot of dead ends in the game. Like, you go somewhere, you're going to find something useful, be it a fairy or an extra heart piece or some bombs or some arrows, even just some consumables, some mana, anything. Like, It's so smartly designed. The world makes you feel clever. The amazing twist in the middle where you go to the dark world. It's like, yeah, I'm doing really well. You know, I've got the 3 bits of the amulets of power, and I've got the sword, and I'm beating Aghanim. I'm really, I'm doing it. And then, hang on, I'm on top of a pyramid, and everything's brown. What's happened? Oh God, everything's changed. Oh God, what's happening? I didn't expect it to do that. I didn't even know that, you know, SNES games had that much memory on the cart, I guess, to deal with that sort of seismic shift of an entire second map almost on the whole game.
It's wonderful when like older games show ambition like that. I mean, it's the thing that the drum that I beat about Dragon's Dogma versus before Witcher 3 was the fact that it still seemed like it was taking risks and putting in nuance and brilliance and really running at stuff where the modern day instinct is to just 1080p 60 frames per second. There's now here, and you know it's nice when you look back at stuff like that and you just go, fuck, you really were trying to push the boat out.
And the thing I think that Link to the Past has done, it's made its way on my top 10 of forever. This year. It's forced its way on. And it's the only game, or probably the one I remember most, the game that I finished this year, and I finished it with a big stupid grin on my face.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, I remember sitting there thinking, yeah, that was... Oh. I remember writing the article I did after it, you know, writing the post I did. Like, it was something like 2,000 words in the end. And it swam by. Like I didn't see that time. It just blinked past. I could have.
It was just looking back over the memory and just trying to articulate it as in the moment as best you could.
Yeah,
to remember it.
I banged it out, and it was just joyous. It was the happiest thing I've played all year by a mile.
That's proper view, mate.
So yeah, it could have gone on the game from another year, but it was frankly far too important. And I hope the viewers play the music.
Yeah, people can see. they hear.
I hope the listeners...
They're envisaging you in your smoking jacket.
Actually not got it on, it's a bit warm tonight. Yeah, the heat's been on all day, I'm roasting. And it made the fish sad. So, yeah, my number 2, game of the ever, silver game, Link to the Past, yo. And I now pass the baton of top 10 to you.
Okay. Nostalgia then.
Ooh.
I love me some fantasy. But those kind of games only really kicked in with PS1 for me.
Okay.
Cloud, Squall, that tiny lad in the waistcoat. They all led towards stuff like
You'd be most of my special boy.
They all kind of led me towards Dark Souls, probably. And yet there's another corner of RPGs that I really love, which only really snared me in the last decade or so. But in a very old way. And those... sort of flat out don't come to modern day stuff with this exceptional exception. Hence my second favourite game of 2016 is Stranger of Sword City, which is on Xbox One, PC and PlayStation Vita.
I'd forgotten about that. I remember you telling me about that and being really confused when you said it's on Xbox One and PlayStation Vita, and it's like, that's a strange choice.
It's a game I've been looking forward to forever. I was really taken by the look of it. Plus, you know, these old school dungeon crawlers took me back to Dungeon Master on the ST and Amiga. Plus recent like DS belters that I imported, like Dark Spire, Etrian Odyssey, and Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. I just devoured them. So this one has 3 art styles to choose from.
What?
For the entire game. Yeah, 3 art styles.
For the whole game?
The whole game. And you can even choose individual art styles for individual characters, should you wish. It's got 3 art styles. One of which is not a million miles away from kind of a Western, like Joe Madureira look. So like an image, like 90s look.
Right.
The story's set in the Bermuda Triangle, where a mystical land thrives full of monsters where humans are affected differently. Say, for example, there's a bit where they go, human physiology, the way it works here, you can carry as much as you want and don't get tired. And it's like, that's brilliant! I love that. So you venture deep into the land, into dungeons, other places. The further you go, the harder stuff gets. You have 2 rows of, I think it's 3 characters. and it's up to you to position them to best show off their abilities. So you'll have like your warriors and stuff in the front, then you have like your archers and your magic men like behind and stuff. And the game doesn't spell it out for you if you put a warrior in the back where he can't hit people, because there are folks in your same party that are ahead of you and maybe more vulnerable because they're at the front. It doesn't. You need to figure that shit out. Some enemies will bring quirks into the battle, like switching your rows mid-battle, or moving into their own back line when they get sort of injured a little bit. At the point where you're like, I think this guy's nearly down. I think right, he's disappeared, and somebody from the back line's like stepped forward. You go as far as you can, build experience, then go back to kind of your home city and you try to buy a few bits. Go beyond your limits, and if a character dies, you're fucked. They can be resurrected back at base, but basically they take days to become available again.
Okay.
Meaning you're setting back out with less people. They're earning more experience, but you're more vulnerable. So if you get in trouble and you venture out too far, you could be losing somebody else. So that's the risk you take. And the more successful you are as you go along, the quicker the people back at home in the hospital will heal as well. So there's this real risk reward as to whether you're going to press on and stuff. So you're tempted to venture deeper whilst you're at your most vulnerable. It's genuinely tense, with a real feeling of getting lost, of not being able to get back, particularly when it seems like you're out of your depth, or you see an enemy that suddenly decides to turn the tide of a battle in a way that you'd not expected, or really, if you're confident in the way that your party's working, if they mess about with your party, all of a sudden, like, you might have somebody that's like your biggest hitter might not be able to hit. It's really quirky and incredibly engaging. One of those where you properly hold your breath within the sort of turn-based battles. The other night I fought this giant monster thing which had no health bar. Like, it doesn't show you the health bars at all.
Okay.
I was kicking out all manner of random stuff, removing people from my lineup. It was chucking out poison. I was going trial and error to try and figure out what would kill it, and did, with 2 people left in my lineup.
Ooh.
Which meant that I think one of them turned into a butterfly. One of my own people, like when he got down to no health, turned into a butterfly and flew away. He's not back at home. He's gone.
Oh.
Which is really bizarre because he was one of my magic dealers, I think. And with the 2 remaining folks, I decided, like an idiot, to press on into somewhere new and got battered. And what I thought with 3 creatures were 6. There were two rows that were jammed tight in front of one another, like not even like a distance. And I hadn't realised. And there was some sort of hugely defensive creatures that were making like tinging sounds when I tried to hit them. I got woefully outclassed and I died. Game is hard, but damn is it rewarding and beautiful.
Okay.
It's this incredible conundrum that makes me feel nervous and fascinates me. It's special as fuck and has received no press. None. There's a really beautiful special edition on the Vita, which comes with all manner of like art books and stuff like that, I think just in the US. There's an 8-hour trial on Xbox One. 8-hour trial. Well played. So it's just a great game, and it's, like I say, I love those old dungeon crawlers. Love them to pieces on DS with the games that I mentioned. It's a great game, and especially with the fact that releases are slowing up for the Vita now. To see the Vita crowd not even go near it, it's just bizarre. I think Gadget Girl Kylie would adore this, but nobody's gone near it. It frustrates me. There's been a lot of stuff that I've played this year that just isn't getting a look in anywhere.
Do you think that the pricing might have had something to do with that? Because every time I've looked for it, it's been about 30 quid.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the Vita one then, because I'm sure this was This was cheaper than I'm
I
sure.
think
it was
20
like
is the cheapest I've seen it on a sale.
23 on Xbox One maybe, and I think that was pre-release. There was like a little bit of a discount, but don't forget this was the one where it didn't look like it was coming out in England, and I went through hell and high water, pretty much like invalidated by Xbox by trying to get onto the American store to buy it, and I had to go through like various bits for payment to be accepted. It was just weird. Game's a belter, true belter. Loved it to pieces. Please buy it.
That's proper.
People, and also on Twitter, they're so appreciative of anybody playing the game.
I think marketing again that is the problem, because like until you described it, like I was looking at the Google images while you were talking, because you mentioned the art style. I thought I'd have a quick look, and like it looks cool, but I can't tell from the images how it plays. You know,
Yeah,
I think it's a very hard one to. I mean, I like to look at pictures to find out what a game looks like, and for me, I found it quite. I'm finding it quite hard to see how it actually works.
But you rely on your games media to do this, and it's one thing saying that game sites can't play everything. Well, there's a tremendous amount of shit out there, and surely like somebody could have picked up on it and just gone, "Oh man, this is great," and nobody's talking about it. And it feels like even back then it was me that was rattling cages, just going, "Look at this is beautiful, this is amazing." I put some videos up on like Xbox One and like narrated over them, and they got like some decent feedback. It's a beaut. It's a real beaut. Please buy it. It deserves to sell because it's a little bit different, a little bit unusual. I love it. I genuinely love it.
I've looked at those art styles now. I like you say. I like the Western one quite a lot. Like that's
it's great. They've got the schoolgirl that's got like the metal kind of arm and stuff, and it seems like I say it's in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle, so you get this smish of like what you call like traditional fantasy with like the regular world that's there, like boats washed up amidst mountains and palaces, and that's just great, and you never quite know what to expect because of that. It's fun.
Beautiful.
And I think as well, if if Laura is commandeering in the telly, this is something you can have on your Vita and just play. If anybody is going on a long journey as well, like on a plane journey, this will devour you.
Well, I'm buying 2 Vita games in the next week.
Cool. Well, I don't think Ocean Horn's on Vita yet, but buy it on PS4.
Oh,
please.
yeah. No, that looks too good to not.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what you think.
Brill.
Of Ocean Horn, but yeah, this as well, because it's like I say, doesn't hold your hand, treats you quite shoddily, but it depends on how you react to the things that it does. For me, it was like, oh my god, this is fucking hell. And I had so much investment in the battles on this because I just felt like everything was out to fuck me over, which reminds me of a game that I kind of got into and started podcasting
that's
about.
interesting, isn't it? Good, a strange link there, isn't there? Are we there then?
What we got then, fella?
Right.
Yeah?
My number one gold standard.
This is the one.
Twin Humanity, Golden Humanity on a Trophy Award.
Do it.
My number one game that I played in 2016.
Yeah.
Sort of technically came out in 2015, but I played it in 2016, so I don't care.
You're hacking the podcast.
I don't care. Some of the DLC came out this year. It counts. My game of the year of 2016, Witcher 3, motherfucker.
You could have.
Play
a
it.
lot of people
Play
have,
music.
A lot of
Music.
A lot of people have put just the DLC on their game of the year because it's this year anyway. It's as big as a regular game, so you can probably piggyback off that.
It's my list. I would say now while it came out last year, I did start it last year because if you remember, it was near the bottom of my list last year. I'd only played about 10 hours of it at that point, and I was only just getting into it. Over this summer, I devoured The Witcher 3. I did everything I could do in that game. I did as many quests as I could find. I bought and crafted even all the armor I could find. I talked to all the people. I made all the recipes. I learned all the spell. I did everything. I got the DLC and absorbed myself into the DLC as well. No other game that I have played, I would argue, even on the PS4, has had the ambition, like the scale, and just the sheer like cohesiveness, I think, that The Witcher 3 has got. Like, no other game of that sort of size comes close to it for me. Geralt is just an incredible, like, dry, funny, but very serious at times guy. You know, he's not, I am the hero and I'm going to do the saving of the day because that is my job, because I am the hero. No, he's a morally grey person. You know, I always like to call him Geralt the morally grey wolf, not the white wolf. I thought it was funny. It's very hard sometimes. Early in the game, you start the game in a place called White Orchard, and it's a really nice microcosm of what the game is going to be. Like, you meet people, you do quests for people, you're asked to make decisions that might not, you know, seem very weighty at the time, but have ramifications further down the line. During the game, I have made a few decisions that vastly change how things play out, and it's stuff I wouldn't have known of a choice I was even making, if that makes sense. I've done some digging once I finished it, because obviously the game ended the way it ended for me, and I thought, let's look what sort of endings we can get. The game can end so differently, and things can happen so differently to how I did. I mean, the way I did is going to feel like the right way, because that's the way that felt right to do at the time. But there are so many different ways you can get to the end, and there's so many different conclusions you can have with the individual characters. My Geralt didn't end up with either of the ladies in the end.
Oh.
He didn't end up with Triss or with Yennefer. He ended up going on an adventure with Ciri at the end. That's quite rare, apparently. Like, usually people pick one or the other, but I didn't do any of the relationship quests with the two of them. I kind of let them both fall a bit flat, and not by choice, just, you know, just that's how it happened. You know, I progressed the story to a point where I couldn't go back, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's how it is. I'm not going to go back and reload any saves. I'm going to just let things lie how they lie, and because that feels more like the game should be. The world, Jesus Christ, the world. I have such an attachment to the world of Witcher 3. I was getting to a point where I could navigate without the map, and that's saying something.
That's awesome. I mean, again, that kind of relates to what I was saying about, like, Dragon's Dogma and ambition, and the way that this gen just emptied out worlds to make them look pretty, and yet Witcher filled the world with all manner of nuance and wonderment and made it look pretty. Yeah. The
fields,
that ambition's there for everyone to see, and also bodes really well for that cyberpunk game.
So excited. Like, the empty fields, they feel like fields where things live. The farms feel like farms. The cities are bustling and huge and sprawling, and the main city of Novigrad is just... you could spend 3-4 hours doing quests around there and not leave. Like, there's so much going on, and there's so many characters you'll bump into, and so many quests you'll just do on the off chance. And, like, every single one of these quests has got something in it. Like, there's something unique, and there's something interesting, and there's something that they're literally... I don't think there's a single, hey, you seem pretty reliable. Could you go and pick up this thing from the forest and then bring it back to me? There is not a single one of those goddamn quests. Even the ones that start feeling like, oh, this one's going to be pretty easy. You get there and you find something's gone wrong, so you've got to use your Witcher senses and work out what happened and trace back what happened and think, oh, maybe there's a monster, or maybe it's just some men that just have, you know, stabbed each other. You know, maybe it's someone who's got lost in the woods and has fallen down a hole. Like, there are so many different things that can end. You pick up Witcher contracts on the way, which is basically hunt a big monster. I want this thing dead. This is the hunt. Go do this Witcher contract. And half of those is researching and learning about the thing you're going to go hunt. Like, learning where it's been and exploring, like, what it's like, and maybe finding some blood nearby and some feathers. Like, oh, maybe it's been wounded, and oh, we think it looked like this, like the other. And then Geralt's like, well, it could be this monster. It could be that monster. And there's such a a variety of beasts to fight with their own different things. Like, there's maybe, 10 kinds of vampire?
All right.
And they all feel distinct and unique from each other. And there's always different things they can do and different ways of approaching them and different bombs and spells that work better against some than the other ones. And even like the individual monsters will sometimes have their own personalities. There's one you'll find in, I think you're chasing, I think it was an Ekimara, which is it's not an Ekimara. It's one of the vampire types, the beastie ones. And like the main quest is that people have been going missing from the town. Like drunks have been going missing. And after a bit of research, you kind of work out that this vampire creature, really likes drunkard's blood. It tastes better. So Geralt's plan is to pretend to get pissed and then walk around singing to himself in the middle of streets trying to draw it out. It's amazing. It's amazing because like they could have played Geralt as I'm not doing that. I'm grumpy. Ugh. He's got they've infused him with such a sense of humour. Like, he's dry. The way he says things, he could say, we need to go to the city. He'll just go, need to go to the city. Like, he'll drop off that first word from the sentence, and, when he's talking, it sounds like him. I would argue that while the main game is good, I think the DLC is better.
Yeah, I'm curious in particular about the newer one, which not only looks stunning, but is about as big as a regular game itself.
I think both of them have their own merits that make them potential to be the better of the two. I actually can't pick my favourite of those two DLC packs.
Oh, interesting.
I'll tell you for why. Before we get into that, so much free DLC, so much content given to you. Good job, developers. Well done. You make me want to give you money later. Well done.
And everybody did.
Yeah. Here's some money, thanks. I started with Hearts of Stone. I was going through it in order. I finished off the main game, and then I jumped into Hearts of Stone, which is an expansion that's built off of the side of the main world. So it is still part of the main map. They kind of stretch out the map on one side a bit and give you a bit of extra stuff to run around in. And it's... While a lot of the game is, you're saving the world, this is something that's going to change everything. In Hearts of Stone, you're basically saving one person. It's more character focused. It's more tighter. The focus is more drawn in. You essentially are trying to save someone's soul, and the person isn't really a nice person. Olgierd von Everec, who's a bit of a mercenary, who made a deal with a shadowy figure called Gaunter O'Dim. And if anyone's read any of Stephen King books, that name will sound quite familiar. And he plays the classic, man at the crossroads with a smile who makes a deal. Something I found out the other day, this guy, Gaunter O'Dim, who's the mystical man, the Mirror Man, he's the first character you meet in the main game.
Okay.
Sitting at a table, and you're looking for someone, and he's like, oh, maybe he's over there, I don't know. You could try asking this person. And I didn't know this until I was looking it up. Like, I was doing a bit of research for this. I was writing some notes, and it said, oh, yeah, he's the first person you meet. And it's like, are you serious? And you go out, and he's sitting.
That's really cool.
He's the first person you speak to at this table, and you've no idea. So it's like, oh, he's got his fingers in everything. Like, some of the things that crop up appear in other quests, and you think, hang on, he likes doing things like that. Oh, that's him doing that. And he really takes this sort of shadowy deal maker, whereas if you try and renege on the deal, your soul is his. He will take you. And part of the quest is Olgierd is only freed when you do these 3 impossible things. And it's Geralt's job to do these 3 impossible things. And one of them is to show his brother a good time. Olgierd's brother is dead.
Oh.
Quite dead a while ago. What follows is one of the greatest missions of any game has ever existed, which I have dubbed Geralt and the Horny Ghost. Part of you showing him a good time is you taking him to a wedding that's occurring nearby with a character that you've known in the past. I believe you met in the old games. I've not played the old 2, but you meet her. It's like, oh, well, how have you been? She's like, oh, I've got to go to a wedding. Do you want to join me? There's more to it than that, but essentially you have to go to a wedding with her. And the ghost is like, well, I could go to the wedding. I need to possess someone, of course. And Geralt just looks at him like, oh no. No. And he just steps into his body. And then in Geralt's body, you've got the ghost of Von Everett's brother controlling Geralt's body. So he's being a swarthy, sort of posy, lecherous, drunkard dancing fool. And kind of every now and again he'll have to pop out and they'll have to have like conference, right, pop out for a second. Right, you can't do this. If we're going to do this, we do it like, okay, jumps back in and then carries on messing around. Like,
that's cool.
It's amazing. And it's just like, I would play that game. Like, that was a good hour, that mission. And you just go around a wedding, just doing wedding stuff. Doing wedding games. Like, oh, look, we're playing Maiden Shoe, where a lady throws her shoe in the river and the man has to go get it. And you're like, well, I could do that, sure. So Geralt and the horny ghost go for a swim. Full of character, full of personality, full of charm, in something I wouldn't have expected. And the ending of that quest is amazing. Like, you can totally just let old Geard von Everett's soul go. You can totally just let him have it. Or you can vote to fight and try and save him, and if you fail, you ultimately damn yourself as well. It's really good. Such good world building, and I think it gets overlooked for the second DLC, and I think that's unfair because it's so well crafted, and it's a short story, it's a small story in this big world, and that's why I think Hearts of Stone is brilliant. Blood and Wine. Oh my god! You know, like what I was saying about HDR earlier.
Yeah.
Blood and Wine is the HDR of the Witcher's universe.
Yeah, it's certainly. I love how resonant and beautiful those colours are.
So
from the screenshots I've seen, anyway.
It's so green and
footage.
blue, and you literally, after an entire game of trudging through forests and swamps and misery and rain and dirt and muck and staying in hovels, as you gallop through to what's the name of the town called? Shit, I've forgotten. Toussaint, that's it, Toussaint, which even sounds French. As you gallop through, like, it just strikes you like, oh my god, like, this is what a nice region can look like. It's beautiful. Like, the sun is shining, the grass is bright, the sky is blue.
But swathed in secrets and deception.
Oh, isn't it though? And it initially comes off as very sort of knights and sorcery and hop, 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 hop. Like, everyone's very regimented, and it's all about knights' honour. You go to a joust. You deal with stuff at the joust. You help a man save a maiden, which ends in a way I wasn't expecting. You pretty much find Excalibur at one point. That one thing the Witch is good at as well is homages that aren't too thick. Like, there's a few in there, like, I know what this is about. Blood and Wine also gives you your own villa. So part of your rewards near the start are you get a villa, a wine villa, to furnish and to fill with your things, and you get armour stands to hang the armours you've collected on, and weapon racks to hang up your swords. So I had all my Witcher gear all set up in my house just to look at, and they give you dyes so you can colour stuff in, and that was a mistake because everything I had was orange and red. Why did they let that be an option? That's stupid. The story is a bit grander. It's more of a plot to assassinate the Empress of the land, and you're trying to uncover what's going on. And again, the characters are just so well written. They're so deep, and there's no right answers to some of the questions. You know, you're asking to choose between a bad thing and a similarly bad but different thing. And you finish the game, and again, there's 2 or 3 ways it can end, and it ended the way it ended for me. And was it satisfying? Maybe not. But that's, like I was saying about Firewatch, maybe things sometimes just finish and you don't always get the good ending. You know, sometimes you do get the bad ending where things end up more fucked than when you started.
Stuff lingers in the mind afterwards.
But, I mean, like you were saying, this Toussaint it was big enough to be its own damn game. Easily. I would say, if I would guess around 100 hours in the main game, I think I spent 20 to 25 in the deals, in Toussaint.
Sure.
I think, which is crazy for the, £12 they're asking for it?
Yeah.
You just can't get content that good for that price anymore. It's a proper old school expansion. It's not DLC, it's an expansion. Same with Blood and Wine, same with Hearts of Stone. It is a sizable, meaty, worthwhile piece of content.
All of it is something that I intend on playing, and especially at the point where my TV is dying, and I've got to get like a new telly to play a lot of older stuff is what I'm going to have to do to save a bit of money afterwards. So I own the main game.
Yep.
So it's about time we had a conversation.
I will give that it takes a bit of time to get used to. It's initially quite unwieldy. The combat is not. It's not Souls combat. It's not sharp particularly. It's quite a bit more loosey goosey. But once you've got the hang of the rhythm of it, and once you understand what the game wants you to do, and how you should be playing it, like you should be using your spells, you should be using your oils and your bombs. It's not just hack, hack, hack. You want to be thinking about what you're doing. Geralt's a smart man, and you want to use his skills to progress. Once you've got the hang of what the game wants from you, I think you'll find that it will click so much faster. And not to lead a trail of breadcrumbs down, but when you're running around in the wilderness, it's a bit Dragon's Dogma, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you're running around, and there's a big thing, and you're like, oh fuck.
That's kind of one of the main attractions for me, is that it's always kind of reminded me of a lot of that, which, considering how I continue to fuss about Dragon's Dogma, it's really a bit of a travesty that I've not done this already. But
and last thing, the usability update. So you're playing. If you start now, you'll be playing it in the best way, because there was a massive UI update that came out with Hearthstone or Blood and White, one of the two. It came out around the same time as the DLCs that changed completely how the menus were arranged. So items were now no longer in a massive list. It was like, right, bombs, oils, grenades. That everything was separate. Even things like food items, crafting items, alchemy items are now separated to their own tabs. You can leave custom markers on the map, so you can put like a big red blob down where a horrible monster is. So you're running nearby and you see that on your map. You're like, oh no, actually, I'll come back later. I remember this. And it enables you to stop walking into the same traps, and you can leave yourself points of note that you maybe can't work out. You think, I'll come back to that later, I think. So you can leave yourself notes and things. It's just brilliant. It's excuse me. It's the developers, CD Projekt Red, just so player friendly. Like, they listened and they've changed, like the UI update particularly. They listened to the feedback and they changed it, and it is now so much better than it was. The fact that they've given out so much free DLC that's of reasonable quality and content. There's a good couple of hours worth of quests in there, with real different things that you haven't seen in the main game. They're not just, hey, go and beat up the bigger dragon. No, it's more character pieces, and you're learning about towns and places and people. Even the more fluffy stuff, like, here's some crossbows or some armor. You still got to go and earn it. You still got to buy the damn thing. But when you've done it, you're like, well, this is very nice, isn't it? I'm glad they've done this. Brilliant. It's just an exceptional product. I can't think of any other game I've played this year that's come even close to having the impact and the importance that Witcher 3 did. I've got a Geralt statue now on my table. Picked up for the princely sum of about 20 quid from a comic shop, which is ridiculous. The soundtrack is now on repeat whenever we play Dungeons & Dragons. It is pervaded, and while I want to go back and play the early games, I don't think I'll get on with them, because I have before and the controls were a little bit more archaic. But I'm going to watch them on YouTube.
Yeah, fair play.
My game of the year of 2016 is The Witcher 3. Music. All of it. No, fuck all of it. Witcher 3 Game of the Year edition.
You a caveat.
Witcher 3 Game of the Year edition. Game of the Year edition. There you go.
There we go. That's it. Tied it in. Well played.
Brill. And now I pass the microphone of Win over to you, sir. Right. Please allow me to cough. Please continue.
So, nostalgia. It's an interesting thing.
Is that how you've played everything so far?
No, I kind of used it with Oceanhorn, and it applies here as well. So
okay,
sure
not.
So it could be a game that's done this sort of thing before, a game that leans on something that came before, but bringing its own unique qualities. Traditionally, I've not gotten on with nostalgia too well in the modern day, not as much as other people, with sort of games that I used to adore back in the day, just not really moving me at all in newer iterations, as we all recall from last year. But I am a fan of shooters.
Oh.
And maybe not in the way that you think. And what goes around comes around in a very, very special game. For me, the best game released in 2016 is Skyforce Anniversary by Infinite Dreams. Let me fill you in, sir. Fill you in.
I've never heard of this, so please fill me in. Do you know what? I'm just going to Google it now while you're talking. Please continue.
Okay. So I caught this on the store just before Christmas and was taken by a number of videos which I watched and then jumped on Google to find out a bit more. So the legendary shoot 'em up returns after 10 years apparently. Twitter seemed to think it was originally a mobile release. So I looked at these vids and just went, yeah, I'm pre-ordering that. Didn't know a chuffing thing about it other than these videos and these screens. So Skyforce Anniversary in the immediate puts me in mind of one of my favourite shoot 'em ups ever, which is Slap Fight.
What?
Which is it's a vertically scrolling shoot 'em up. Slap Fight was where you constantly added things to your ship, but your ship built outwards, and you became a bigger and bigger target. And it was an arcade game, sort of back in the day that I used to play in Skeggy, and I got the Commodore 64 version as well, and I love that to pieces. But while it doesn't quite have Slap Fight's mechanic of building your ship outwards, it has its spirit, and it put me in mind of other shooters that I loved sort of back then, like UN Squadron, Tiger Heli, Flying Shark, 1942, even stuff like Swiv on the Amiga. This was once my favourite type of game to play, but I've long since drifted away from it. Whether the time away has been a good thing or not, I'm not sure. But in the modern day, I've been a bit intimidated by shooters. Most appear to be lost in like bullet hell stuff, staggering pace, and even gawping at the recent sort of riding game that was released on Xbox One. Still a billion things on screen. It's moving at a daft old pace. Skyforce Anniversary isn't like that. It moves pretty slowly for the most part, and the things it does to keep you playing, I can't remember a One More Go game like this in an eternity. I even had a moment last week where I had 10 minutes to leave the flat, but thought I could have another pop at a challenge before I left the house, which was mad. So, yeah, these challenges. You start the game as, chip, fighter jet, pew pew, front cannon, which can be temporarily upgraded as the level goes on. So you get, sort of weapon upgrade things for it. Shoot the enemies and they release stars. Move over the stars and you bank them. After the level ends, you go to a hangar where your stars can be spent against permanent upgrades like front cannon, wing guns, homing missiles, magnet, which vacuums up the stars from like greater and greater distance, plus upgrades for the special weapons. There's laser, energy shield, and a mega bomb. The levels each have their own achievements as well. So 70% of enemies killed, 100% of enemies killed, rescue all the humans, remain untouched, and collect all the stars. Running these is the kicker, like leading you into like different mindsets as to what you're trying to set out to achieve. The things you can, the things that you can't. Maybe like I say, these individual runs where you go for, right, I'm just going to go for all the humans, or I'm going to try and get everybody killed,
God,
or
I love
the
when
stars.
they do that.
And all of those achievements that are available are in the right hand corner of the screen at any time. And when you you're going along and say like you miss a plane or something like that, it'll go chain lost, and you're like, oh fuck, oh no, and then you maybe reevaluate, or you just think, well, I can get these stars and I can do something with them. So each individual sortie results in those stars. You can then upgrade ship a little bit more and essentially make those Chivos a little bit more achievable. So everything is kind of building towards getting better at playing the game and making things a little more valid. So if you get one achievement in like a level, 1 or 2 achievements, I think it is, it unlocks the next level anyway. Getting all of those achievements on a level unlocks a further difficulty. So as you've got your normal level, that will then unlock hard, and then intense, and then now I've beaten level 9, nightmare mode, which all sit alongside the normal. Not only are these sort of more of a challenge, but they belch out more stars.
Oh.
And like there's even stuff now where I'm noticing that there are larger stars that are belching out, and after you get all of the larger stars in the level, it will double the amount of stars that I've got by the end of the level. It would just like give me twice as much, which is like, oh, okay. So the difficulty increase is exceptionally done as well. Rather than stuff all of a sudden being stacked unfairly against you, the game has a way of positioning things differently. It makes certain things harder to get, maybe, but tantalizing. There's this feeling that you're always close to being better, and the fault is you. And it's not something I've seen games do this well. I just haven't. I know it's the kicker of like the, to say, oh, it's the Dark Souls of shoot 'em ups, but that upgrade system, that progression isn't really a million miles away. The levels are bright and beautiful. The soundtrack has a touch of kind of Commodore 64 about it. The end of level bosses are amazing. Like there's been stuff where like massive fighter jets sort of come on screen, and there are all these like different turrets that pop up, and some of them like belch out spores that go across the screen. Some are firing cannons and things. And
I think I'm looking at a GIF of that one right now.
It's great, and yet there's been times where at the start where I was trying to take out like the individual cannons and stuff, and then I realised that when I get the laser upgrade, if the one that belches out the spores, I can maybe save the laser to take that out, and that means I've not got them on screen. And then there's been bits recently where I've got like a mega bomb, and I've just flown up to the middle of the plane, dropped a mega bomb, and it's just levelled it. So there's even a level where a submarine launches an EMP missile at you near the start of the level, and for the entire level you have to dodge that missile. If it hits you, it basically removes your guns for the entire level.
The whole level?
The whole level. So the rest of that level, you're either trying to remain untouched or you're rescuing all the humans, but you can't shoot anything for the rest of that level. I can't begin to tell you how smitten I am with it. I've even got to the point now where, because I've fully upgraded my ship, I've got like everything is maxed out. It's now letting me level the stars against going into each of the levels and buying more lasers, more energy shields, and more mega bombs, which means that if I've got like a wave of fighters coming towards me, I don't have to maybe see if a laser drops. I can just like hit like a laser, just like a proper line from top to the bottom of the screen, just like fire that up and then just move left and just take out the whole level of them. I've realised that the energy shields, you can actually put it on and just ram shit. So if you've got like you want to remain untouched, that you can either use it in a panic anyway, as you might imagine with a shield, but you can also take things out with it. Mega bombs are fantastic anyway, but they become more and more destructive as you level up. Plus, when I'm doing this, it's now giving me like 2 little extra pods on the side that I can have for extra guns. So it's still giving me stuff. There's a secret sort of level towards the end which is just mental. That it's also co-op.
What?
It's co-op. I'm just the amount that it makes me want to keep playing, and even when, say, I'm going for 100% of enemies, and I get like the other day I got 99% enemies and 99% stars. There's not this point of like fuck that. There's this point of like you can do this, and it's not even kind of a well, I'll come back to it in a bit. It's a case of like just wanting to play. It's such a joy to play. All of it is such a joy to play, and you're constantly moving towards something. And now I'm at this point, like I say, where I'm able to sort of buy some of the special weapons and it's still tactical as to how you use those towards the later levels, because for me, maybe some of the later levels will be a bit more achievable with co-op, but you know that you can, like, if you're getting enemies all over the screen and you're thinking, I can't get near them to shoot them, you're like, well, how can I use the special weapons tactically to take those out?
That's brilliant.
So it's...
If you're listening right now, look at GIFs of that, because like, I've looked at some pictures and I want it. It's so chunky and lovely looking.
It's beautiful,
It's
and
lovely.
it's so clever. And it you know, sometimes you can feel games are designed to, we need to like super up the difficulty on that. We need to make this near impossible for people. It constantly seems to like want you to win, but it wants you to kind of do that with a certain flourish, and it holds things back from you. There's stuff that I didn't figure out until like ages later, but it's got that feeling of like going for more and more of those achievements. It's not just getting through a level. You can do it a number of different ways. If you get all of those achievements anyway, you get like super bonuses. Occasionally it puts a VIP in one of the levels, like a human that will give you sort of extra stuff. There's trading cards to find every now and again and unlock, which I've got like most of them. The actual game achievements, like the main ones, you know, your PSN or your Xbox Chivos, again, are like really achievable, and not just in a this is piss-takingly easy kind of way. Where I looked at the list of the stuff that I haven't got, and I was like, I reckon I can get that, and I reckon I can get that. It looks beautiful. It moves like a dream. It's so one more go. I can't even begin to tell you that degree of that anti-frustration that's there. And again, it's a great game to have on your hard drive and just go, I'm going to play this, and you just kick it on, and you're away.
That one more go thing, I've had that recently. I completely know what you're talking about there, because we picked up Peggle 2 in the January sale. It's got that as well. It's got the bonus challenges that you think I can do this. You know, when you miss that level by that one peg, and you're like, there's that moment of and then the moment of no, I can do it.
Well, you've got the stuff in this whereby, like, if you it does this thing whereby if you say like the places where the humans are positioned are often the best places to kind of take out certain points of waves of enemies, which is really clever.
That's clever.
And it might just be like you don't have to be directly over a human to like pick them up. Like there's a little sort of wheel that goes around like a buffer reel, and it goes woo, and then you hear like woohoo.
One more.
But you can woohoo. But you can move your ship near them, and like a little line will draw down towards the human, and like you know you're still in radius to like pick them up, so you're not being forced to directly like go over them and stuff. But when you're going through a level and you're say going to just pick up the humans, you might play it differently and potentially avoid certain squadrons or certain bits, or not bother with them in the same way as you would if you were going for like all the stars or 100% of the enemies. But you've also got the thing when the magnet's there, like, and it's hoovering up like from decent distance, like the stars that are on screen. You're still trying to kind of get across to all of them, and whereas collect all the stars might not be one of the main achievements, it's like a secondary one that's like tucked away in there. You're still mindful of it because it upgrades your ship, plus you can do stuff with it, and you get those extra bonuses, and everything just kind of stacks, and you can separate out all of those things out, and you can go for individual ones, and it's just great. I'm really made up that you're looking at that and just going, that looks brilliant.
It just looks lovely. Like it just looks chunky, and like you said, the speed of it looks reasonable.
Yeah, and even when it goes to the later levels and it's kicking stuff out at you, it doesn't feel like it's just belching a million things across the screen at once. It will challenge you. Absolutely, it will challenge you, but it never seems like it's being unfair. It feels curated. It feels crafted within an inch of its life. It's a wonderful, wonderful game that deserves more. Again, it's had no press. I picked it up just on the off chance, just going like, "Oh, what's that?" and looking at screenshots, and then looking like a few gameplay videos, and just going, "Oh my god, that looks gorgeous." It's utterly brilliant, beyond brilliant, and that's why it's easily my game of the year.
God damn, well put.
Thanks, sir.
Well put. So yeah, is that the end?
I think it is.
Good God, this was a long show, wasn't it?
Well,
it feels like we've been recording for 2 nights.
Well, to put people in mind, my PC is like super dying, and it took 3 boots for it to actually go to desktop on this one. It crashed in the middle of the last show, and like the first half of this show where I managed to rein all the files in. So
see if you can work out where. We're not going to tell you, but see if you can work out where.
But thank you for listening. Hopefully, like this has maybe led you to considering a few bits that you not before. And cheers for supporting us through 2016, and we'll speak to you a lot more. Hopefully,
I've got one more award before we finish. Best podcast co-host. It's you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Don't play the music this time.
You also are the best.
Here is some chocolate.
Nom.
Flowers everywhere.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. For the final time, play the music.